All right, everybody, guys, welcome to the first Cryptonairz chill stream. I have a great lineup tonight with Lefty Chris, Carolina Keith, Node Baron, and Draco. We have some other guests that's going to be coming in a little bit. They're running a little bit late, and we had some cancellations. But tonight is really all about just grabbing a drink, chilling out, and talking crypto with the guys. One of the first things I want to do tonight is talk to Carolina Keith about the market. I want to talk about what's going on. And, obviously we had a little bit of a flash crash, yesterday. And, what can we expect moving forward?
Yeah, I don't really think it was even a flash crash. If you look at it, it kind of looks scary because it was, you look how, God, it's 25%. The hard part to remember is, I think from November, Bitcoin in particular is up on the 9 times that 545%, dropped 25% in a day. Is that really a crash? If you look at the more broad spectrum, I think a lot of things are still okay. We had 2.5 weeks of almost steady up. You're going to get some down. You cannot sit and expect up and up and up and up and never expect red to happen. And in fact, the more green we get, the more red we get. It's a natural bear market. Everyone has a tendency to take profits. That's an important thing for everybody to remember. It's so much more easy to be a bear market than it is a bull market. You actually have to have people band together and buy in order to become a bull market, and everybody loves taking profits and putting money in their pockets. So bears are much easier to find. In my opinion, I think Bitcoin's already had a lot of its dominance taken, and it only appears to be dropping dominance. If you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, I'm kind of looking at it right now. Then you see that. Let me pull it back up for myself here. It's down from 73% all the way down to 40% now. ETH and Bitcoin combined run about 60%. That was 83% at the beginning of the run. I know a lot of dog coins and crap like that ate it up, but that's faded really hard. So, now the dominance has shifted more toward ADA, Binance Coin. XRP still has 2.5% dominance, which is ridiculously low. But I don't think Bitcoin's going to tower over everything. It's trending down at the moment. I've got Bitcoin dominance dropping all the way down to right now. See, it's right on the ragged edge. So maybe 34%. So another 7% drop in dominance for Bitcoin. Where's that money going to go? Tether doesn't seem to be breaking north. It seems to be going sideways. If it's not going north, then we have to look at other stuff. Total market cap minus Bitcoin and ETH both look good. Total market cap for altcoins looks exactly the same as those two. I'm to assume that money is going to shift to altcoins.
I realized sorry, I'm mic'd. My mic was moved. With that being said, do you see any opportunities out there in the market? Maybe, some areas of, buy zones or something we should be looking at?
Absolutely. Today, from last night, I did a live stream on Tuesday night, which was last night at 11 o'clock. From then until now, Algorand is up 46%. Algorand still has more to go. I think it's going to take a breather for a bit. But if you look at the chart, it's got a channel up to about all-time high, which is roughly 345, 350. I think that's going to move to all-time high. It's broken all resistance, has none left. So Algorand, I think another 100% for sure in time. Not right now, but in time. Others like Zcash has a very sideways chart that's sitting on support. That's going to go up. Ontology looks very similar, sitting right on support. It's a little worse than Zcash, but it's right there. For that matter, XRP, I'd expected this to go down to $1, between $1 and 85 cents. And I said that on August 26th. Put that on Twitter that I thought that was going to happen. Well, the market moved north, kind of gave me a little bit of a head fake, and then all at one time, bam, all the way down to 95 cents.
Hey Keith, can I break in and ask you about the XRP? Like 20, 30 minutes ago, there's seemed like there was a flash crash on, it looked on Coinbase down to 80 cents. I mean,
Mhm.
do you have any insight on that?
Nope. The beautiful thing about XRP is it's on about 80 different exchanges. And when one exchange does something, I automatically look at the rest of them. None of the other exchanges budged, simply Coinbase. And since it's not even tradable on Coinbase, I don't even look.
Okay, fair enough.
I tend to only use Bitstamp and Binance charts. And the reason behind that is the data is more consistent on those charts across the board. I get less wicks, and the wicks that I do get tend to be consistent across the board. Every once in a while, there's an outlier. I try not to use Poloniex charts because of that. Poloniex have the most notorious wicks, and you'll only see it, on Poloniex. It'll be up 77%. You look on another one, and it's up 12%, 14%. And there's arbitrage. Arbitrage is a common thing. So, yeah, from here, I expect XRP to move toward $1.50. I've expected that for a while. It's making a beautiful inverse head and shoulders. I mean, it's there. It's just got to finish it off. It's going to take a bit. Nothing's gonna moon. Nothing's gonna burst. That's not how it works. It's going to be a slow, steady grind. This market is far, far more mature than it was in 2017. And that being said, it's still kind of immature. Dogecoin proved that. It's one of these things where you got to stop expecting the exact same thing to happen again. I say this all the time. If that was going to happen, it would have already happened. And it's, the SEC stuff's going on, and that seems to be falling flat on its face. We're going to get buy signals before that ever happens. I expected this to go to $1, and it hit $1, and that was my, hey, buy signal. So I actually sold it. Okay, first of all, everything I had got stopped out because everything went down 25%. And I had my stop losses set at 7%. So I got kicked and kicked and kicked. I bought back Algorand and Ontology. Algorand went up 50%. Amazing. I bought XRP as well. It hasn't done anything yet, but when I saw it hit $1, I said, oh God. And I was at work and I stopped what I was doing and bought. So I'm expecting that to go to $1.50. I mean, that's 50% of what I put in. I'm more than happy with 50%. I'm going to take profits along the way up. But $1.50 to $1.75, I think.
Well, obviously there's a handful of us, that's great information for the market. And there's a handful of us. I think everybody here all runs nodes. And it's one of those things when you're a node runner. I was just talking to Lefty Chris right before we started. When you're a node runner, these little dips in the market are just minor speed bumps when you have things like Strong and other nodes. And speaking of that, Lefty, tell us about what you're doing with your nodes and how it's all working out for you.
So right now, for the most part, I've just been continuing to compound. I know I've had compounded into 20 Strong nodes, and I have my 2 SRX nodes right now. I'm trying to get into pre next. I already have the tokens. I'm waiting for the verification. I haven't thought about getting into Flux, but I hear that's a pretty good node that everyone's trying to run. So kind of just doing some research, just been reading a lot of the node catchers infograph and all his information on his websites. So it's very knowledgeable, and I've just been picking up from there, but definitely just been compounding and just seeing what happens with the market.
And I know, again, we talked, you've been posting on Twitter, you got yourself a new ride. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah. So, I ended up buying myself a new car. I actually used some of my XRP profits from it. So I basically paid on it, full crypto. And I love it. 6-speed, can't go wrong with that.
I think you're going to get the XRP maxis to get upset that you sold.
Oh no! So I made sure I still have a huge stash in my ledger, and then I have my global ID XRP Mastercard. So I'll keep that stash separate from my actual ledger stash. So my bags are full.
All right. Node Baron, what about you? What do you got going on?
I've just been stacking to a really fat stack. I like fat stacks. They make me happy. And compounding has been an amazing thing. I started back in the around February timeframe when we were at $32 a token and we were making 0.2 per day. So at that point, it was like 67% a month return. And so, been spreading the word as much as I can to people in my circle, people on Twitter, just trying to help as many people as I can achieve financial independence. Whether it's one node, 100 nodes, I don't care what you have. You've unlocked that financial freedom, and I support anyone and everyone who wants to do it. There's been a lot of people that like to FUD, and that's unfortunately part of the space. And for people who don't know, that's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I try to dispel a lot of that, but some people just can't get past that. But nodes are the future. Nodes are where things are going, and I'm very, very hopeful for that future. And it's just amazing community to be part of the node community. And I know there's a lot of nodes out there. I'm very, very heavy on Strong. I know some of you are big into Pre and Flux and Pack. And even some of my close friends are actually jumping in on the ETH master nodes, pulling in 32 ETH per node. I mean, it's a huge investment, but they're seeing the long-term, results from that too. So, I mean, the future is bright. I mean, we are still early with, 10, 11,000, node holders for Strong. I'm excited for where this goes. We're still early, and I have a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, the price is so high," but really, it's just perspective. Kind of look at it like this: it's like getting on a train ride. You can get on the next station. You can still ride the train. It's just going to cost more to get on. So, for those that are interested in nodes, there's a lot of good resources. I mean, I'm happy to help address any questions or concerns. And I know Lefty Chris, I know Node Catcher, Showtime. There's a lot of great people that are willing to help out and get you going in that path. But nodes are good. Some people call them insurance policies for crypto, because no matter what the market does, whether it seems like a flash crash, pullback, even a bull market, you're making money. Like, it's making money every day, no matter what. And so, I like that infographic on the screen. That's awesome. I survived. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Nodes or DeFi without the risk.
Yeah, you brought up Showtime, and he had some personal obligations. But since you brought it up, I wanted to bring up, and that's what just came up on the screen there. He has a I Survived the Cowabunga 2021. He's got a like a product line, all of going to support the U.S. soldiers and their families. So I would suggest, if you guys get an opportunity, to go on Twitter, look up Showtime and look up what he's got. He's got some really neat things here. It's actually kind of funny. So this is not affiliated at all with Strong Block. Obviously, there's some resemblance there, but it's not affiliated at all, and it's going to a good cause. So if you guys get an opportunity to look up Showtime, 2KX on Twitter, you'll get a link to. Actually, I can put the link on in the chat. Check it out. It's actually it's pretty funny. I wanted to bring that up. He's a really good guy, and it's going to a good cause.
I almost didn't notice he changed his profile picture. When people do that, I lose track of who's who sometimes until I look at the name. I'm so used to seeing people's little profile for 3 months at a time, and they switch it up. I'm like, do I know this person? What's going on? But I think I like his new picture better, so I'll give him credit.
Yeah. And like I said, that's the thing. We all kind of came together in this space, and that's what people need to realize, that we all just kind of met each other on social media and through this space of running nodes or crypto. And crypto is actually changing people's lives. I mean, Lefty Chris is buying a new car, all with crypto. Keith, you discussed the SEC things that are going on and everything that's going on in crypto there. This is just the beginning, although we've been around for 10 years now, a little over 10 years. We are still early, especially with nodes. And I try to get everyone involved with that to try to earn that passive income. But one of the biggest turnoffs right now, and maybe you guys would like to pitch in on this, I know maybe Draco would like to talk about it, is the Ethereum gas fees. I mean, right now we're looking at, see if I can pull it up. I think 1,200 Gwei. Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Bargain prices.
I'll jump in there and talk about that for a little bit. But first of all, I want to give a shout out to all the Cryptonairz, the whole Cryptonairz family. I know a bunch of you are watching. And if you are in the Cryptonairz family, that means you know about nodes. So go ahead and throw in the chat #node because we want to see you guys out there representing Cryptonairz. But on that topic, specifically with gas prices, I mean, I think that Ethereum has been exploited for a while. People have figured out that they can't handle the congestion and the traffic. I think that's obvious. And when you put that traffic on their system, the price goes up to a ridiculous amount. I can recall a couple nights ago where gas went up to 5,000, and just to see what it would do, I wanted to see how much it would cost for me to send Ethereum from MetaMask to Coinbase, and it was like $500 just to see what it would do, and it tried to charge me like $800. So I mean, that's ridiculous. That shouldn't even be a topic of conversation. Let's be honest. That's not functional. That's broken. So I hope that they're working on that. I know everybody thought that EIP 1559 was going to fix it. It didn't. All it did was raise the floor for gas. When's the last time you guys have seen gas down in the single digits or down by 10 or down by 15? I haven't seen that at all since EIP 1559. And another thing to talk about that is what Allison's saying. NFTs are controlling the market on Ethereum. And I think, recently, I think, they were talking about how we need to put NFTs on a different system, like on a different type of minting basis, so it doesn't clog up the gas so much. I know that a lot of you guys also run nodes such as Strongblock. And when you try to collect your tokens off of all of your different nodes that you have running, it can run very, very expensive. So you kind of have to time it. So I think we're all feeling that. It is what it is, but it needs to be fixed. And if it doesn't get fixed, just like I've said in the past, be smart with your money or someone will be smart with your money. I think that they need to fix these problems. The community has spoken. We've all brought this up. This has been going on for a long time, and it's getting worse and worse and worse progressively. And if they don't fix it, somebody like ADA, somebody like Polkadot, or one of these other chains are going to come in and say, we can do better. And if you don't have that supply and demand and you can't keep your people happy, people are going to leave your product in the wind. So, I really hope that they're, on track to fix that. I'll tell you what, if Ethereum 2.0 launches and it doesn't fix a lot of these problems and help even things out, I could see people looking for alternatives. And I think that will be the future if they don't get it together.
Well, I'm going to bring something up. Vitalik tweeted out today. See if I can get it up here for you about.
Yeah, I was going to mention
about this simple thing, and it looks like he's clearly aware. And then I did see on somebody else's Twitter that he was talking. Yeah, he was talking in a different interview that transferring or exchanging, buying, selling, whatever you want to do, if crypto should cost no more than 5 cents or something along those lines. And he said, I'm not sure when he said that, but we're definitely in an interesting time when we're spending so much. And I think it's crazy when we talk about just the amount of money that we're spending in gas when you're running nodes and you're just claiming or you're paying fees and you're doing all these things. I think I claimed over the last weekend and paid some fees, and it was just hundreds of dollars. And you kind of get spoiled when you're also getting money coming in from nodes. But when you really when you really stop and think about how much you're really just paying in fees, it's kind of ridiculous.
Have anyone had to set an alarm to wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning just to try to claim?
Hey, look, that's kind of when I go to sleep. So I've been trying to hang out every night about 1:30 a.m. and just hawk it. But even at 1:30 a.m. the other night, it was like 1:50.
Yeah.
Dude, I give up, bro. I'm out. I'm going to bed.
It's unpredictable at this point.
Yeah, you used to be able to time it where it was the weekend, and you could say, oh, okay, on the weekend at 1 a.m., it's going to be down in the 20s or 30s, and you're going to get a good deal. Not anymore. Now, I will bring up a point here to play devil's advocate on gas. I think Derek Jeter NFTs dropped today. Hall of Fame induction, all that crap, right? Hall of Fame did something with Hall of Fame stuff. The NFTs are selling for $30,000 a piece. So if I'm selling a $30,000 NFT and it costs me $500, who cares? I'm taking my $29,500 and I'm laughing about it. So in my opinion, that's the inherent problem. The problem is they don't care about the expensive fee because I just made a song. I could care less about $500 when I made $29,500. And if that continues, I mean, there's gas will never, ever go down. And I think, the whole hard fork thing was just a setup to get us an average going forward. And if we continue to average high numbers like this, and this stays up in the hundreds, this is the floor. That's not sustainable. And when things aren't sustainable, they break. And I would love for someone to come along and steal the thunder from ETH, but we have to admit that they're Kmart. And until they're not Kmart anymore, we're just sitting back waiting. I mean,
100%.
It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, 100%.
It is what it is, and I hate it. But if it costs me $500 to claim $9,000 worth of strong, well, that's what I'm going to do, and that sucks. But I'd rather have the $8,500 in my pocket.
Yeah, I mean it's the necessary evil that we're dealing with, and they're the whale, and that's who we have to deal with. And even David Moss has said, yeah, we're looking at and entertaining potentially working on a different smart chain or whatnot. But the amount of work and effort it would take to move the smart contract, it almost wouldn't be worth it. So we're kind of stuck with what we've got. But I mean that's just like when you're talking about dealing with YouTube or Facebook or whatever. It's like, hey, deal with this, or Twitter. Like, this is your medium. This is what you can and can't do. These are our rules, and we have our own kickball, and we're going to keep it. And if you don't like it, I'm going to go home with it. So that's what we have to deal with.
Keith, you brought up NFTs, and we were just talking about that with the gas. Is anybody flipping NFTs here?
I'm too poor.
Nah, I made one NFT, and that was it.
I mean, I made like 300 of them, and I thought about listing them, but I don't know if I want to spend the money to list them. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm
$70 a piece. Come on, that's stupid.
I plan on doing it. I plan on doing it for my kids. They make this little artwork or whatever, and I'm just gonna throw it up there, see what happens. Like whatever. It's for a good cause.
If somebody will pay $6 million for a pixelated cat,
right? That's what I'm saying.
Why not?
Well, on the flip side too,
you understand that shit, by the way.
On the flip side too is I'm also selling a bunch of my crypto domains that I've held on for a while too. I've got the crypto domain for Pornstar, and I've got the crypto domain for SpaceX. Brilliant. I've got the crypto domain for a lot of these big entities and names. I'm listening for 25, 50 ETH and see if anyone bites, because I know that sex.crypto sold for 90,000 a few months ago. Wow. So the right person comes along, and you bought a $40 domain, a one-time fee plus the gas fee to claim it, and just flip it on OpenSea, and the right fisherman comes along and says, I'll take that one, I'll take that one, I'll take that one, because I know down the road they're gonna be worth a lot of money. Just like back in the day when the .com, when sex.com sold for $1 million. It's these key words that people want. And so maybe even that's part of my strategy too long term is NFTs, domains, crypto, nodes. I mean, there's so many different things you can get into and enjoy and appreciate. But I mean, I would almost challenge anyone to go out there and just for fun start querying, different business names. Like, pick the top 100 businesses in every state. See if they have a crypto domain against their business entity. Most people they don't. And so you can, like, for $40, here and there, just throw some money around. If you have a little extra jangle in your pocket, go pick up a couple extra names. It's just fun. You can always sell them, trade them later. But,
I just picked up 786 assassins.crypto.
Nice.
Someone sold it then.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I know someone who bought that. That would mean they sold it if they did that.
Oh, really?
I remember the guy who actually he approached me. He's like, "Do you want to buy this for $200?" And I was like, "No, you're good. You can. I want you to take it and run with it, brother." And he was like, "You sure?" "No, you're good. Go ahead. It's fine." So
that's funny. Yeah, I haven't got into NFTs. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm surprised someone hasn't tried to taking their OnlyFans content, making that NFTs and selling that. I mean, I'm surprised that hasn't gone anywhere.
But we just haven't looked hard enough.
Oh, okay. I'll leave it there. I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith, if you want to expand on that, go ahead. I mean, we got time.
Say what? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I said if you want to expand on the OnlyFans NFTs. I mean,
as a joke one night. Okay, so when I do my live streams on YouTube, I drink and I get drunk And then one night I got really drunk because girlfriend got me a membership to Flavier, which is like the liquor subscription.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, then
So
they
I
send
got
you different bourbons, right?
or whatever you want. And I got like $190 bottle of scotch. Okay. I'm a poor guy. I've never had expensive liquor before. Wrong, bad move. And I got plastered live. And I tried to get up and walk afterwards, and that was a mistake. Well, that night, these dudes that we were talking to on Zoom some of the assassins suckered me into making an OnlyFans. So hell, I made an OnlyFans. I mean, I ain't got no nudes on there yet, but hell, I got an OnlyFans. So if I can NFT that shit and make some money, if
Drop me the link. Drop me the link. Drop me the link, and I'll put it out there, man.
If somebody wants to pay 20 ETH for an OnlyFans picture of me naked, I'll do it. No shame.
You know, the thing about NFTs is like you kind of have to be in it to win it. And you can't, I mean, you can kind of follow people that know what they're doing and read about it a little bit, but you really don't know what's going to hit. Like if you were to tell me, you know, 3-4 months ago that Bored Ape Yacht Club was going to be the biggest shit, I would have laughed at you because they're not that crazy. I mean, they're just, you know, digital drawings of apes with different stuff on their face, right? And if you would have, I would have literally told you, I think that's stupid. Then when it hit, and now the floor price is what, 30 ETH for those or something like that? It's crazy. That's insanity. Like that's pure insanity. But if you were rolling the dice and you were in the NFT game and you took a little gamble on, you know, I think to mint those were 0.07 ETH to mint. So your initial investment's like what, $150?
Mm-hmm.
And then you flip it for 25, 30 ETH. I mean, you fucking hit the lottery, right? But how do you know the one NFT you're buying is gonna do that? I mean, it's a gamble. But then again, you know, in the exact same, you know, tongue-in-cheek conversation that we're having on NFTs, it's the same thing sometimes when you're looking at cryptocurrencies. And I'm talking specifically about meme coins and stuff. Like, you can do your research and find projects that have great utility, really good teams that are backed up and docs, you know, great utility and all these other things, and then put your money where you're going to make money. But exactly the opposite, you can go into a meme coin just because it's got 200 billion tokens and, you know, the price is 0.00001, and you put your money in there and you might lose it, but you also might make money. So I think that's kind of the risk you have in cryptocurrency overall. You got to be in it to win it. You might hit it, you might lose it.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I stepped away a little bit. I know my my wife is watching. My kids are still awake. My youngest is running around here with no clothes on, so I had to go get him ready for bed before he all of a sudden popped up on my lap or something. And I got to explain to YouTube and my wife why he's not wearing any clothes. So, yeah. So sorry, I stepped away for a second, but you know, obviously talking about NFTs. And I think some of the bigger news that happened yesterday was the Bitcoin day for El Salvador. I've read mixed reviews about that, about whether it was a good thing or a bad thing for El Salvador. Anyone got any thoughts on that?
Well, it definitely has kind of cemented in the idea of going to Bitcoin Beach. It's now a destination I want to check out sometime, just so I can spend my Bitcoin one day. Take my node money and flip it into Bitcoin so I can be on vacation. No, it's definitely interesting to see kind of a standard set. And I think a lot of other countries are going to follow suit. I know that was it Romania or one of the European countries
like
today.
Ukraine or
I think it was
something.
Ukraine.
It was Ukraine. Yeah, thanks for correcting me. But they just adopted it as well. And then there's another country that just put it up for a vote. So I think you're going to start seeing more countries following suit. And also, I think long term, a lot of other countries will want to have a more reserve hard asset that, you know, doesn't change, that has a value no matter what's going on. Even though the value fluctuates, it still has value. And it for example, like Venezuela, you know, you can use crypto in any country now. A wallet's a wallet. As long as you can transact digitally, you're good. And so what I don't think a lot of people realize that is you don't need a bank account to do crypto. You can trade somebody something and they can wallet send you money. You don't actually have to have fiat to onboard. You just have someone else send it to you. So if we had people that would pioneer that mindset around the world, that you don't need the banks technically. If someone else And this is another thought I have too with nodes. These nodes are generating money in the ether, technically. They're generating these tokens every single day, whether it's a strong block node or any other node, you're making this income. And wherever the interval you get paid on, that comes back into your wallet. And then now you can send that to someone else's wallet. You can send it to a spouse, your parents, a business, write it off on charity. There's so many different things you can do with a wallet transfer, and a wallet transfer is not a taxable event. So technically, we could keep sending this around the world and keep this money flowing. The more you choose to do business with businesses that accept crypto, and every business in America can accept crypto now legally. Get a BitPay account, BitPay business. They can all ingest crypto. It can be XRP, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin. I don't care whatever token wallet you want to set up. They can now ingest crypto, and they don't even have to touch it. It all goes into their checking account the next business day for a 1% fee. It's mind blowing if people would truly change their mindset a little bit and just become aware of what they can do. It's freaking amazing. So we can get away from the control of the banks, or I can only move so much money per day. A wallet doesn't care how much money you move in. It doesn't. You can have $10 million. You can have $1. It doesn't care. That's the other cool thing I've been discussing with a few people is like the pulling money out back to fiat, because we still interact in the real world to some degree. I still have to pay my mortgage or my rent or a lot of things and even my taxes are still in fiat, unfortunately. So when I go to pay my taxes for next year, I have to pull money out. So I've been trying to find the best ways to do that. But yeah, this whole scene is just mind blowing. The transformation we're going from, I take my fiat, put it into crypto, hopefully make some gains, but now I'm making my money in the crypto, and I don't actually have to take it out if I don't want to. I'm in full control of that. That to me is so powerful. And I will share this. A few weeks ago, I mentioned that I'm actually leaving my 9 to 5, and I'm going to retire away from working. I'm so excited for that. It's a few weeks away. Probably about a month from now, I'm going to leave and just kind of do my own thing.
Congratulations, man.
And that's
congratulations.
And that's in just the last 6 months.
Popping.
Really?
I'm so excited, to go from, man, I got to work another 20, 30 years of my life to, 6 months, I'm done. That's life-changing. And that's what this space has done for me. I discovered nodes off of Twitter. And for anyone who doesn't know, Twitter is an amazing tool. I've met all of you folks. I've interacted with probably most of you all the time. We're always sharing, chatting, doing, videos like this. But I mean, it's just the interaction, the family, the growth, the conversations, the inspiration. Some person randomly listening to this broadcast tonight be like, oh, I should get a node. Maybe I'll look into a node. Or maybe I'll, start following Carolina Keith's trading advice. Or maybe Lefty Chris has another node idea and I can try that. Whoever's ideas are out there, they're valuable, they have merit, and we can all share it, and just benefit from that. And so I love this community. It's just amazing. It's like any other community out there. So thanks, guys.
I have to say, it's crazy that you brought all that up, and a lot of what you said, all the way up to the point where you said that you were getting ready to, potentially retire and all of that. That's what the SEC and that the government, when it comes to taxing and all that, that's what they're scared of. They're scared of people taking control over their finances, not utilizing banks. That's what the banks are scared of. And the banks are the ones that are lobbying against trying to set laws and regulation against cryptocurrency. They're scared. They don't know what to do with it. But on the other hand, you also explained, how it's, it's the beginning of your conversation was talking about how other countries were using it, right? They're scared, and they see all these other countries using it, and they know if they just flat out get rid of crypto or try to make laws that are completely against crypto, it'll leave us back, we'll be left behind. All of these other countries will just go way ahead of us. They'll jump ahead of us and take us over financially, and they'll just go out into the future, and we'll be stuck, back in the 21st century doing nothing with what we have on a fiat that's not worth anything. So I think you pretty much accurately, without even knowing it, described what they're scared of. And Lefty Chris, go ahead, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. I was just going to co-sign and even say, basically, you guys all summed it up. I mean, they're super scared. I mean, the fact that you have the SEC now, they're trying to come after Coinbase for lending. When you realize that traditional markets, you have a savings account. At the most, you're probably going to get 0.01, 0.02% for your savings. You put $1,000 in there, you're only making maybe 20 cents for the whole year. When we know in crypto, we could probably put 1,000 into algo right now, let it sit for a year, and that's a guarantee, maybe $40, or more, depending on the price fluctuations. But that's just one example. And I think that just seeing that, I think that is it's a huge shift. There's a huge shift in the paradigm that a lot of people aren't waking up to. Some are, but I feel like for the most part, the SEC and the U.S. government, they're very afraid of. And we're living in some of the best times in crypto, I will say. This is probably one of the most crucial times. I tell people that I know personally, they always ask me, am I too late? I'm like, honestly, I really don't think you're late at all. I think this is a perfect time to get in. It's just, you have to be mindful that you have these institutions that are going to eventually come in, and that's going to change the game forever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, one of these things, especially with this SEC suit with Coinbase, or at least the threats of it, is the U.S. is really just afraid of losing the dominance of the U.S. dollar. And if they lose that, they, I think I was talking in our Discord channel earlier today. I mean, the world reserve currency is the U.S. dollar. If you all of a sudden have crypto, which can be DeFi, which is what SEC has been going against in the beginning already, right? They want KYC, they want all of that. If you take the power of the dollar away, then we no longer become a financial powerhouse in the world. And I think that's the scariest part. That's why you see someone like Donald Trump say, I don't like it, or our senators say, I don't like it, because you're taking the financial power away. And no more, I don't believe, in my opinion, wars are no longer fought with boots on the ground and tanks and airplanes and fighter jets. It's all fought financially. And if we lose that power of having the dollar financially, we set ourselves back. And I think that's really what the fight is about. This other stuff with Coinbase and the SEC, that I think that's little, and I think that's just the start of trying to maybe scare some people out of the market. But I don't necessarily think that that's going to go anywhere. They're concerned about maybe lending and acting as a bank, and I'm not sure if Coinbase has a banking license or anything like that. But I would argue that I don't think that this is going to go anywhere. Let alone they haven't put out the lend platform. It was still in the works. It was never out there. So, the threats are kind of empty, in my opinion. It would be different if they started this and then they said, you have to stop. And they said, no, I'm not going to stop. But they were just working on this platform, the lend platform, to use. So I think this is just kind of
no, but Grant, you missed the point. The SEC is trying to protect you, your consumer.
Right?
They're protecting you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. They want
we're going to
protect
you from yourself.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. But
That's what the SEC stands for, right? Squeeze every cent.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And no, but that's just it. The rich right now it's a weird. I had this conversation with a coworker earlier who's running nodes also. The rich are continuously getting more wealthier, and if you look at our government officials, there's no reason why they should be making $174,000 a year, and after their term leave with $9 million or $8 million or whatever it's going to be. That's our politicians shouldn't be millionaires, in my opinion. But the craziest thing is when you start to, I think like Node Baron was kind of saying, he's fortunate enough to be able to retire. But when you start to make a decent amount of money that is life-changing, that you're able to buy a car with to all crypto, you're able to retire, you're able to do those things, you can truly see how your money can continue to make you more money when you have it, and you're not living the paycheck to paycheck. And just like I wanted to say, just like Node Baron said, get on Twitter, go through those places, get on social media and learn about this stuff, because it can be life-changing. It was life-changing for me. I was watching another crypto content creator on YouTube one day when I came across Robert Doyle, who's the CEO of Cryptonairz, and he was talking about strong nodes. I said, well, that doesn't seem real. It's too good to be true. I didn't even have a Twitter account, but I said, how am I going to get a hold of this guy? Because I need to talk to him, and I need more information. And when I got that more information, it just kind of spiraled. And now I told everybody that was close to me, you got to do it. Some people did it. Family members did it. Some people didn't. And now we're all kind of benefiting from that. So it's definitely a life-changing opportunity. And you're absolutely right. The SEC, the U.S. government doesn't want more people to become rich or millionaires or whatever it's going to be. They want to squeeze you out.
I take it farther than that and say the SEC doesn't want you touching your own money.
Right.
They want
your money.
Your own money. So like, I haven't had a 401k since 2008. I lost everything in 2008, every single dollar I had. And the answer that I got back was, oh, I'm not even joking. The message that I got back was, we're very sorry about that. What do you mean you're very sorry about that? It's your job. It's your job. And believe it or not, how do they do that? Well, they invest your money in what? Well, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Quote unquote technology. Well, what does that mean? Well, we don't discuss how we do that. The hell you mean? It's my money. What do you mean you don't?
Right.
Well, we don't understand. We're licensed to do this. We know what we're doing. Okay, well, explain it to me. It's my money. Well, we don't really do that. I can just tell you that it's gone. The hell you mean it's gone? And from that point, I stopped putting money in a 401k for that reason. And I decided that I was better. I'm better at losing my money than someone else is. If I'm going to lose it, I want to lose it. I'm not going to give it to you and say, hey, would you manage my money for me? And if you lose it, that's okay. No, the hell, I can lose my own money. So from that point, got me here. I mean, I stopped falling for that a while back, and I'm not going to be a part of anyone else talking to me about how they know how to spend my money better than I do. If I had have lived by that, I would have never bought any coin except XRP only. I would have never bought a node. I would have never learned about market cycles. I would have never learned how to chart. I'd have never learned any of this. I would be stuck sitting in XRP today, waiting and begging and hoping. And, you brought up Twitter. First and foremost, crypto Twitter in general is the worst place, but node crypto is far, far different. The people are helpful and nice to each other, and they'll share information. And hey, man, maybe you should check this out. And check this out. This dude's really got this. Maybe you should. It's amazing. But the moment you mention that you like something that someone else doesn't, the earth shatters. And it's time for a fist fight. How dare you talk bad about Flare? How dare you talk? Like, okay, this is something that I learned a while back. This guy who I learned one guy who taught me how to trade. He said, the people who don't understand this are getting laughed at. And I was like, what do you mean? He says, well, you don't understand it because you see these things on the chart and you see these little dots. You don't understand what they mean. But when you do understand it, you laugh at anyone who doesn't, who says, I think I know what's going to happen. Well, no, you don't. You haven't looked at the chart. And then we laugh at them for that. And I thought, okay, well, then I learned about crypto. And the same guy that I learned how to do options and equities with, I came back and said, by the way, I've gotten into crypto. And he kind of laughed. And I said, well, what's funny? He said, there's a lot of money to be there, but the people are really stupid. And I said, what do you mean? He said, no one knows what they're doing. And I was like, okay, well, talk to me about it. And he said, okay, what does he do? He pulls up a social media post and it says, this coin is going, that was XRP, by the way. This coin is going to $10,000. He said, it's 11 cents. He was like, I'm laughing at that until I die. He said, what are you thinking? Have you lost your mind? That's not how it works. And I asked him about it. He talked to me about it. And from then on, I've tried to explain to people that we're getting laughed at. For talking and having that mentality, you're getting laughed at. I don't mind seeing the big picture. And I love people that can see the broader spectrum. That's amazing. But for you to say something so outlandish and spread it like it's the gospel destroys what we're trying to do. And people laugh at us for that and call us idiots. And for that reason, we're not taken serious. And then you see things like the SEC case happen and go, well, that's good because, stuff's not, it's monopoly money anyway, blah, blah, blah. Quick story. next door neighbor over here, we call them the vampires because I never see them. All right. They never come outside. It's really weird. And then when I do see them, they come outside and they got shades on, even if it's not bright. So it's like twilight. So I'm like, I see them at the trash can because they're just now starting to come out. I get it, COVID and stuff, whatever. He comes out to the trash can and he'd asked me about crypto before. All right, months ago. We moved into this neighborhood not too long ago. I was able to get in this neighborhood with crypto, by the way. That's kind of how it happened. He says, I'd like to talk to you about crypto when we're at the pool. Okay. Didn't really want to talk to me when I got into it. So then tonight, or a couple nights ago, he comes up to me while I'm at the trash can. He says, hey man, how's that Bitcoin stuff you do going? Monopoly money, ain't it? And I looked at him and I said, straight up, how much do you want for your house cash right now? And he looked at me, he's like, what? I said, well, how much do you want? What would you sell it for right now? He's like, well, I haven't thought about it. I said, well, I'd like to make you an offer right now, cash. What do you want for it? Well, I don't know. I said, I tell you what, I'll be live on Tuesday if you want to talk about it on YouTube. You can ask me then. And he looked at me like, what? And to be able to say something like that to someone and say, hey, man, I don't like to flex on people because it's not cool at all, in my opinion. I don't like people who flex, but every once in a while, you got to put people in their place and let them know you're laughing at the wrong people. You know, you should probably give us a little bit of respect, especially Node Twitter, which was mind-boggling to me that people are nice to each other. I'm used to getting trashed on Twitter for posting a chart that people don't agree with. And I put something up and people go, oh man, sweet, check this out. And wait, what? A little bit mind-boggling to me. Sorry.
Well, speaking of being trashed, you had some other issues going on in some Telegram channels or something like that. People were upset with your
God bless, man.
Your analysis or what?
You say things don't go up forever, and they get upset with you. Okay. People are going to hate me for this because a lot of people don't know who I am on this channel, and that's fine. I do 100% charts. I've never read a white paper. I've never read one. I don't care who the CEO is. I don't care who he's married to. I don't care where he used to work. I don't care where he went to school. What does the chart say? Is the chart a buy? Well, then buy it. Is the chart a sell? You should probably sell that. Is the chart got a good long-term trend? Yeah, it does. Okay, well, you should probably stay in it then. Does it look like you're going to tank? Hey, man, you should probably sell that. It's as simple as that. Well, are there contributing factors? Yes. If you come out and tell me that the president says there'll be no more crypto and it's banned forever, obviously that's not good news, okay? The thing is, we'll already have a sell signal before that happens. That's the way the charts work. And even if we do get something like that happens and we don't have a sell signal and a sell-off happens, I promise you there are people like me who are waiting to see a big stupid red candle come in so I can buy the bottom of it. I'm betting that that's not going to last. Just like I did with that drop today or yesterday on XRP. When I saw that thing go down 24% one day, I said, that's stupid. I'm buying that. Why? Well, it's got good support at 85 cents, $1. Okay, 10 cents, I can risk that, whatever. I'll buy that. Well, it was because of the news. And dude, what are you talking about? Stop. If it's about a 20% accuracy when it comes to news articles, okay? If there's a 20% accuracy, that means you're 80% inaccurate. In what world do you bat 20% and be happy about it? No, you want to bat 80%. You want to go up to the plate and everybody be afraid that you're going to hit a home run because you hit 80% every time you go up there. You don't want to be the dude who goes up there and tries to hit 20%. Well, it applies the same way with investments. You don't want to invest in something that you're guessing on based on the news. I want to already have bought that or already have sold that before any of that ever happens. And my God, you would think I pissed in someone's cornflakes or talk shit about their kid or something like that because I say stuff like that. And man, it's as simple as this. Again, I don't like to flex, but I didn't get where I was watching the news. I've never cared. I say I never cared. That's a lie. People are going to hate me for this one. I don't like Kevin Cage. I don't like Digital Asset Investor. I don't like any of those people. Why? Because it doesn't move the chart. None of it matters. It's noise. I have enough noise. I have 2 little boys. One of them starting to grow nut hair. Okay. They're rowdy. They're rambunctious. I have a needy girlfriend. 2 dogs. I don't need to hear noise. I don't need to hear noise. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is whether I'm making money or losing money. We're here to make money. We're not here to pat each other on the back. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not here to rub your shoulders and tell you you're doing a good job. I don't need to. You don't need to do that to me. No, Baron, my man said he's just here to retire. He doesn't need anybody to pat him on the back. He already knows. I promise you. He's going to wake up one day when he doesn't have to work. He's going to stretch his legs. He say, now what do I do? He doesn't need anybody to tell him that it's going to go good for him. So I don't know, man, that stuff, just the noise, it's entertainment. You got to understand they're making money off of y'all every time y'all click on it. I don't know. And they don't give any of that money away. They never do. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever gives any of that away. It goes straight in their pockets and they buy coins with it that they make money off of. So, like, what have we really accomplished? You know what I mean?
Keith, I will say this too. There is one individual that I've actually listened to, and actually I pay a monthly subscription to his information. I'm a patron, a long-term patron of the Digital Dave. He, remember his Twitter handle, but he actually has made some very, very interesting long-term predictions. One of them was Theta, and Theta is one that has made several people in my circle a ton of money. He said, buy Theta. Look at the partnerships. Look at what they're doing. Look at what's going on. Theta.tv, Theta Token, T-Fuel. It went from $3 to $14 in like 2 months. It went on this crazy run. And then we saw it at the top. We sold it almost, in that short time, almost $100,000 profit based on what your position was. You can make some crazy moves in just a short amount of time. I agree with the charts. Charts don't lie. But also, if you're not good at charts, there are a few key people that I've actually learned a lot from and actually take cues from. I don't take advice from everyone I listen to, but sometimes, there's some good stuff out there too. So that's where, if you just, I love your content, what you're doing. But I will say, for those that aren't even, savvy enough to go follow the charts, do your research. Always do your own research. I always put that out every time I post anything critical. DYOR, NFA. This you have to learn for yourself too.
There's an important aspect to what you just said. Yeah. There are 9,500 plus coins, right? How many of them are actually going to work? Maybe 100, 200? That's probably, a very low percent. So if you're going to buy a shitter, you better be prepared to sell it. Now, the same thing goes with the stock market. I'm not going to buy a coin. I'm not going to buy stock in Aerotime automation like on Wolf of Wall Street. Why? Because it's not real. And even if I did buy it, I'm going to sell it for profit before it goes crazy in any other direction, because I just want my money and I want to go. Now, if you're asking about Google, Amazon, or eBay, or these are the kind of things that aren't going anywhere. They're going to be there forever. And even if they're not there forever, they're going to be there for a really long time. That's a wise play, right? Theta, wise play. Theta was a buy on May 20th on the weekly, and it has yet, it didn't sell off until April 19th. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. That's amazing. There are only so many that are going to do that. We can look at a chart and say one thing. And there is an aspect, like you said, if you're going to buy a shitter, you better be prepared to reap the wrath. All right. Pretty much anything on Coinbase, you're all right with, because those are, in my opinion, those are all things that are going to last. Things that are on Kraken, in my opinion, those are going to last. Uphold or whatever, those are going to last. When you start getting into some of these other exchanges and these things are absolute shitters, you better be prepared. Don't say I didn't warn you. You want to trade, that's fine, but you're playing with fire. And if you don't want to play with fire, I fully get it. It's not for everybody. It really isn't. But the 401k guy that you pay, that's what he does. He plays charts for you with your own money.
Well, that brings me to a good point. I want to talk about 401ks. I want to jump in real quick and make a comment. So two things. Number one, you were talking about the news cycle and all that kind of stuff. There's two people you want to listen to in the news. You want to listen to your typical news. You want to listen to CNN, Fox News, NBC, CNBC. You want to listen to all that stuff. You want to listen to it so that it can point you in the right direction to go by listening to the exact opposite of what they say. When they start saying all that shit, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that's their job. Who in this United States or anywhere Who spreads fear, uncertainty, and doubt? It's the news. They're the ones that are pushing all of this shit. So if you really want to know what's going on, use your brain and think about what they're actually saying. And on top of that, if you want to get a better perspective, listen to when banks put something out. When a bank says something, when they put out a press release and they say, "Hey, cryptocurrency is going to fail," don't buy this and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Why are they doing that? What's their motivation? So that was the one thing. But when it comes to 401ks, I heard this from another content creator. I won't go into all the information that I got because it was actually two different content creators that I kind of brought this all together on. But one of the things you guys can look up, Warren Buffett, he had an equation that he came up with, and this is going to circle real quick to 401ks. He came up with this equation that talked about the market, and I'm going to butcher it, but just the general understanding is if you take all of the assets and what their net worth is and you put it all together, so you take all of the stocks and you take all of the wealth and all of the coffers and you put it all together and you add all of that up, the actual value, then you take the value of the stock market and you compare them together, you're going to see that there's an offset. And if that offset goes over 100%, you have an over leveraged market. Well, right now, the U.S. is 200% over leveraged. I'm going to repeat that. The stock market is over leveraged 200% based off of its actual value. What does that mean? We're going to hit a crash. It can't sustain that. So when you're talking about 401ks, and I know we're talking about cryptocurrency right now, but I want everybody to understand not everybody has all of their money in crypto. If you have your money in other assets, specifically, 401ks, and you're looking at the market trends and all of that, obviously the people that are making a lot of money on these markets aren't going to come out there and say, we have some real serious indicators talking about how we're 200% over leveraged and the market's going to crash. They're not going to say that because the people pull out their money. So do your own research, look at that stuff. That's not financial advice, obviously, but do your own research and look at that. That is happening right now. And be careful with your money in other spots.
An interesting thing he just said. Would anybody ever borrow money to go to the casino? Because that's what the U.S. government's doing right now. You're borrowing money, aka printing money, to buy things that you're not sure will work, aka stimulus packages and PPP loans and everything else. You're borrowing money to gamble. Who in their right mind borrows money to gamble? Any responsible adult does not do that. However, we elected officials that do that for us. So at some point, we got to call a spade a spade. And real quick, this other job that I took recently, I didn't sign up for 401k, but all these guys I work with are old timers, and they say, hey, man, you need to do 401k. As a diversification hedge, I said, I'll listen to the guy, right? I do crypto. I don't need him, but I'll listen. I want to be open-minded. The guy comes in. If anybody's on here from New York, no offense, but he shows up to a South Carolina job site with his hair slicked back, a Rolex, and a $600 suit on. All right? Nobody in South Carolina dresses like that. First problem. So he comes in and he says, hey, by the way, here's our plan. It always goes up. First thing right there, red flag. It always goes up. Then he says, you should give me your money because I know what I'm doing. Been doing this for 2 years. Another red flag. And he says, hey, man, listen, we got a solid plan and we're going to make you money. This was February last year. And I was like, man, I don't buy anything you're saying. And he says, oh, well, trust me, we know what we're talking about. We're going to be fine. And I was like, man, me and another guy, Andrew, I work with, who actually got me into crypto. We were sitting there, man, I don't buy anything this dude's saying. So I looked at him and no one will say anything because they're just taking everything he's saying. They're soaking it up. And I said, brother, if you look at the market, it's hella overinflated. It's going to pull back. I was like, you look at the chart on the Dow, it's way past take profit lines. And he says, well, we know the market's going to crash eventually, but you should still sign up. I looked at him, I said, what the hell are you talking about? And all the old timers were like, oh, Keith, shut up, let him talk. I said, okay, bro, y'all can give him y'all's money. Okay, in March, what happened? Everything come tumbling down. And I looked at those dudes and I said, how much money did y'all lose? Oh, well, I don't know. Well, I don't even check it. I said, you don't check your own money? Well, no, I just give it to him and it just comes out of my check. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, come on. What are you doing? Did you not learn from 2008? Did you not learn? Were none of y'all homeless like I was? Did y'all not figure this out? And the answer was no. I just stood back and shook my head, man. I'm like, I don't know what else to say to y'all guys. I can lead y'all to water, but I can't make y'all even put your lips down there to drink. So I feel like it's different here. A lot of crypto people understand that you're trying to lead them to water. They may not drink, but at least they listen. Where regular people just don't.
Well, let me ask you this though. We're talking about over leveraged markets. The U.S. is not the only one that's printing money. Everybody's printing money. So, is there some correlation there? If everybody is printing money, everybody's market. I mean, if you look at China, right, they're having some issues. But
interesting you bring this up.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So right now, we're about 3.5% up on the Chinese yuan, on the RMB. We're about 3.5% up. Problem: we're about 19% down versus the pound, and we're about 7% down versus the euro. Right now, the pound is worth way more, by a factor of 1 to 3 over the dollar. They're at 72 cents. We're at 72 cents on the dollar versus the Great British pound. They're not printing money. Germany, who is partly over the euro, printing the hell out of money, and slowly we're coming back versus the euro here. Interestingly enough, China started printing money, but a lot of that money is going to Africa. If you want to do a little bit of research on China and Africa, yeah, they're about to take over. So, that's something I kind of worry about a little bit. China and Africa, and just look up a little bit about it, and you're gonna go, holy shit, I had no idea. A lot of that's going to Africa. I think that's going to stop eventually because
that's why
we were 15. We were right. When I went to China a couple years ago, we were 15 cent. No, we were 7 cents on the dollar. It was awesome. I felt like a king when I went over there. When I left and come back, it was 21 cents on the dollar. And I went, oh shit, they're catching up. They're catching up little by little. And even though it pulled back a little bit, it's because it went so far forward. Other countries are printing money, but they're not doing what we're doing. They're not spending $6 trillion in wars and then leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. I think, I have family members in the military, and, my hearts go out to the servicemen and women that lost their lives over there. And I think that goes to everybody probably here feels the same way. And Cryptonairz and myself, we thank everybody out there for their service, whether you're in the U.S. military, and you're fighting for your own countries, and you're allied with the United States, clearly. Thank you for your service, and I truly mean that. And on behalf of Cryptonairz, we mean that as well. So if you're stateside or if you're abroad, thank you for your service. We're constantly thinking about you. We know the sacrifice that you're making. And the last 20 years won't be forgotten for you guys. And there are people here, whether it's the crypto space or any space, that truly respect and cherish the service that you put in. And we understand the sacrifice that you made. So I feel like I had to get that out because it's important for me.
Well said.
Yeah, that's well said, man. You want to move on to talking about these taxes, because we're coming up on tax season not too long from now, man.
Well, actually, I was gonna bring that up. So I don't know if a couple of you guys know Steven from the Strong Block Discord. He's made a couple calculators. He was going to join us. Had a couple of. He was going to be a surprise guest. He had some personal things going on, so he messaged me. He was unable to make it, but we'll bring him back on. And talk about his calculators, but absolutely taxes. And I think one person we could talk to about taxes is maybe Node Baron, since he's getting ready to retire. He's got probably got some taxes he's got to pay here coming up. How are you handling the tax situation with yourself, or would you just prefer not to answer that?
Well, I'll give you this. There is a lot of, I call it unclarity, because everyone has their opinion on crypto Twitter about taxes and how I'm going to pay my taxes. But I will say this, until you speak to tax professionals, and I mean talk to more than one, like get 3 or 4 different opinion right now, because it does matter. I've got people that have been CPAs for years that still don't even know what I'm talking about. You talk about node income, that's another whole ball game. Like, how do you classify that? Because technically, you didn't buy or sell crypto. You got it as an income. So it's like, well, is it a capital gains? Is it, what how do I classify this? And it's interesting. I through my circles have talked to several CPAs indirectly and directly, and the consensus right now, and don't quote this, not financial advice, but it technically in the US right now, the word on the street is it falls under what's called a qualified investment, similar to an annuity where you put money in, you don't get money back, but you get an income from it, right? And so the way this comes out is anything, and these are all just numbers I'm going to throw out there. Supposedly the threshold is 400,000 or less per year. It's taxed at 15%, even less than capital gains long term. Now, if you're over $400,000 in income, then it comes in at 20%.
I think it's actually 395,000.
Yeah. Whatever that magic number is. I mean, you always, consult on this. I'm just going off the cuff when I remember. But this if you can get the right definition and like it has to meet all of the qualifications, check the boxes, obviously. But yeah, definitely consult with your local CPA on that, and that would be a game changer for a lot of people thinking it's regular income when it technically is not. And then some people have questions. Well, if I just don't pull it out until next year, do I have to pay taxes on it this year? That's still another good question. If it never comes out of the ecosystem, do I have to pay taxes on it? There's all these kinds of questions that come up. Well, it's a wallet transfer. I just go between wallets and it never leaves the ecosystem. Am I good? Or if I just send it to a paper wallet and it vanishes from my radar, but I still have it. There's so many nuances to this, and there is no good clarity, but you have to go through the tests. Follow what really needs to happen. Like, do you put money in? Yes. Do you get your original investment back? No. Do you have an income? Yes. Like, you have to follow the money, follow the trail. And so I'll leave it at that. But, taxes is going to be a what next year. And I did hit up Steven, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, about one of his calculators. And I've been going through it and just, seeing what he's done. So far, I'm impressed with his work. I don't want to publicly endorse it until I've fully vetted it, but I've been impressed so far with what I've seen. And I've chatted with him privately on the side. I will continue to pick his brain. And I'm a patron of his. And so I appreciate the people that are willing to put the work in and do the calculations. And, it's a very well thought out spreadsheet. And so, if he comes on here in the future and talks about it, then, I appreciate what he's done. So I'll publicly say that. But it's going to be an interesting one because even when going to my tax professional last year, you check the box. Did you buy, sell, trade, receive crypto in this year? Yes. And then you have to, is my stack this thick or this thick for this year? Did I trade this much or did I trade, and again, then you have to fall into the category, was I a trader, a day trader category versus just a casual person doing buying and selling crypto? There's thresholds. And so you have to meet those levels. So, and I'm not qualified to talk about those thresholds, but again, this is one of those things where I would pay the right person the right amount of money to give you the right direction you need, and consult with multiple people in that space.
Good advice.
Branching off of what he said, I recently just went through this because just like Lefty Chris bought himself a car, I managed to pay my truck off and get into the neighborhood that I'm in via crypto. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So went through the same exact thing. We've been talking amongst our private group about CRTs, using an IRA through the crypto, through a CRT, routing it that way because it's much like an annuity or a trust. This is $395,000. First of all, not financial advice. I'm not a tax dude. I just paid a guy. That's what I did. So I just paid him and I shut up and I said yes. And whatever he asked for money-wise, he got. So I ended up only paying about $3,000 worth of taxes on what I pulled out, which was amazing to me. But it worked out that way because of the way you're allowed to bracket things out. The best advice is pay a pro. I don't care what anybody says to you, pay a pro. And then after that pro says what he says, go ask another one. Because I promise you, no one knows. The first guy I talked to when I said crypto sent me out the door. The second guy I talked to said, I know a guy. The third guy said, I have no idea what he's talking about. I don't know anything. Finally, I found a guy. And then I found a tax attorney to help me out with it as well. Had I not had those, I'd have been screwed. So there's I'm not joking. 500 loopholes. What Node Baron just said is totally right. There's so many ins and outs here that anybody who tells you they know what they're talking about isn't fully aware. There's so much here. We've been spending a good amount of time talking about this on Zooms and stuff, after streams and stuff, trying to get our ducks in a row, because I feel like a lot of us are going to be millionaires. And I don't mean that jokingly. I think that's a legit thing. I think all 5 of us sitting here will be millionaires. I think that's an easy call. What do you do with it after that? Are you really going to be the dude who drops out 39% for capital gains? You really going to be that dude? Are you going to suck it up and not laugh about it, or are you really going to be the one who just says take my money? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not that guy. When you say you want 40% of my money for nothing, I got a problem with that. So it took me what I paid him to get where I'm at now, and I can't do it again. That's the problem, until I set up some more stuff. So I hit my limit. And I'm not going to go into too much of that because it's like personal information or whatever, but just know if someone tells you they know what they're talking about, God almighty, call them personally and pay them first, because they probably don't. I couldn't give you better advice than pay a pro.
I think one of the challenging things about just the taxes in general really is like you said, Keith, is that you have to go through so many different PAs and CPAs, and most of them don't even know about any of the stuff that we're talking about. And so I think that's one of the challenges, is knowing that the market is still young in that regards. I will say, like for my case, is one of my close friends, he actually is an accountant, and he actually does have strong nodes. I actually talked to him and told him about strong nodes, and he went in and ended up getting some. I think he has 9 or 10 right now. So, I'm happy to help out anybody when I can. The cool thing is that because he actually took the leap of faith and got in, I told him, hey, we should sit down and like actually try to figure out what we're going to do for tax time, because now you're in my world. So now you have no choice but to actually figure out this stuff too. So it'd be interesting to see how he, how he does his taxes, and I will probably follow suit along the way. But I will definitely, get some second or third opinions as well.
Bouncing off what you just said about he has 10 strong nodes, according to Steven's calculator, that's worth $167,000 a year.
Yeah.
Pay attention, everybody. Are you listening? $167,000 a year. How much money you make a year at your regular job?
Yep.
Who's laughing now?
Yeah, and one of the things that Grant and I found out, we've been doing some research on this on our own, and this is obviously, it could change, but based on what we're finding out right now, when you invest, let's say you do your original investment into Strong, right? So let's say, we'll just put hard numbers on this so it's easy to follow. Let's say you put $10,000 into Strong, and then you start creating new nodes. You roll over your nodes into new nodes, right? Well, the way that your taxes are going to read that, if you used, for example, a tax service or a tax program, it's going to see that you're being paid like a token. You're getting income. So it's going to give you Strong. Then you're going to swap it, or you're going to give it back. Now, if you give that back, if you started at 10,000 and they give you $10,000 worth back and you make more nodes with it, it's going to count it as a loss. So, because they're giving it to you. So now you're taking money that is income and you're putting it back into the system. And every time you do that, it's going to go at a loss, at a loss, at a loss. And what I found is that I did that too much. And now I'm at a point where I have to find ways to come up out of the negative because I've made too many. So now if you can find yourself in a point where, well, maybe this isn't as profitable as I thought because I'm not taking enough profit. So don't find yourself in that position either. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is if you want to try to mitigate some of your taxes, one of the ways that you can do that is rolling over your node profits. And let's say you pull out right now 10 strong. If you roll that right back into nodes, and that 10 strong was equivalent to, let's say, $5,000, right, at a $500 token price, you just reinvested $5,000 into crypto. Which, if you were, let's say, you owed $5,000 in taxes, you just reinvested $5,000 back into crypto, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So and if you paid gas fees, which you're going to do, to claim all and to create that node, all of those gas fees that you're paying along the way as well are also expenses, which means you're going farther in the negative. So just something to consider.
Furthermore, an LLC with an IRA or an S corp with an IRA can write those off as deductions cost of business, which is $10,000 a year minimum. And depending on which kind of IRA you have, you can actually roll that back over into a different annuity and make money off of that annuity as well, and it form about 8%.
Yep.
Crap,
Absolutely.
I paid to learn.
Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think what Draco was talking about, that's some of the steps that at least that I'm taking. I'll speak on my own. Is creating an LLC, or I've created an LLC simply for node income and running nodes in crypto for the opportunity to use those tax write-offs. And that's one of the things that I hope to talk about in the future if our tax guys are willing to come on and talk about, those different tax opportunities you have in crypto and explaining how to create an LLC or tax it as an S corp, depending on how much money you're making, using an IRA as well to earn additional income and write things off. Hopefully, eventually they'll come on, and that's probably hopefully another conversation for another day, and we'll get you guys back on to talk to them. And it seems like everybody here has probably already gone down some type of route like that, as far as whether it's creating an LLC or talking to the right tax people, because absolutely right. I don't think anyone here, we're too far along in the game to try to hide anything from anyone, and it's just not worth it. We'll just play the game like all the other millionaires do and use those tax write-offs to our benefit now.
You're on the internet now.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to chime in here and just give people a word of caution. Be careful what you share online. Even talking about node counts, that's your personal information. People can pull an income from that. And so let's just say you're going through a divorce and you say, oh, I've got 20 nodes. Your ex could hear that. Your attorney could hear that and say, oh, he's making $300,000 a year from nodes.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my piece of the pie? Then they can go after that. They can do research on that.
Absolutely.
You have to disclose that. And I will say this. I went through a divorce in the last year. I had to liquidate my crypto. I had to come up with all kinds of money and clear all the books. I literally went crypto free for a few months. It sucked. But here I am on the flip side, 6 months later, soaring like eagles, if you will. I discovered nodes a month later. So
perfect timing.
Amazing timing. I had almost $1 million in Dogecoin that I bought for $4,000 last year. And I had to liquidate it at about $10,000, unfortunately. But that's the price we pay to play this game. Taxes, disclosure, being transparent with the feds, with anything you're doing. Keep it above board because it's on the blockchain means it's out there forever, technically. So
They're watching.
They are watching because technically once you go from a wallet back to a KYC, there is a trace.
Yep.
And so be very careful with that. That's my admonition for the rest of the evening is just always watch your back, be careful what you say online, and protect yourself. And never share more than you need to share. People ask me how many nodes I have. Not enough.
That's a good point.
Absolutely.
I've never have enough.
Well said. Well said.
I will say this: I have more than 5 wallets, but that's all I'm going to say because diversification is important too.
Right.
Never have all of your eggs in one basket. Hacked, forget your keys, lose your keys. Something happens, God forbid, you are like, Keith said, you're back to square zero back in 2008. I mean, it happens to the best of us, and I feel for you, brother. That's not a fun place to be.
Nope.
Whether it's the market, whether it's, you lose something happens, it's the reset, and it sucks. So just be careful out there.
Algorand up 10%, by the way.
Pumping.
Nice. I went ahead and got a little bit of that I had my first initial, I think, buy in at like 65, 70 cents. So pretty good. But I ended up buying some more last night, I think at like $1.70.
This brings up an interesting point. People ask me a lot of times, do I trade everything? The answer is yes. However, some stuff I trade longer term than others. 4 coins in particular that I trade longer term. I don't look at anything, or I don't make any trades less than a weekly chart. Would be Algorand, ADA, VET, and XLM. Those 4 weekly and higher. Why? Because those are long-term holds, and I'm still going to trade them if I see some ugly shit. But I don't see it ugly right now. It looks great right now, so I'm going to stay in it. But those 4 I only look weekly. Everything else is daily or lower. I know I catch some flack for saying you don't hold anything. No, I'm the one they say has paper hands. I'm the paper hand person, and that's fine because I'm gonna tell you I didn't get to where I was by holding. If I was holding, I would be up about 300%, which is still pretty good, right? $6,000 times 3, I'd be at $18,000. That's nice because that's what I would have. I'd be up 300% from the day I bought XRP for the first time. Yeah, that's not good enough. I'm well exponentially above that. Can't get there holding. You can, don't get me wrong. But remember this, if you want to be a millionaire, you're going to be selling at some point. Everybody's a seller if they want to be a millionaire. I know we think, utilities coming, regulations coming. I'm with you. I fully understand and I fully agree. When? You don't know. So till then, in order to get some money, you're going to have to sell. And if you don't want any money, that's fine. Unless you're moving to Antigua, Romania, or El Salvador, you can't spend your shit. So it's got to go to US dollars first. I use a crypto.com card. That's how I spend my crypto if I want to spend some. My StoreX nodes, my pre-search nodes, and my Flux nodes all run on VPSs, which I pay for with a crypto.com card. So I pay for it with crypto. However, that's converted to fiat, which is a taxable event. So I had to be very careful about how many I opened up. I wanted to open up more StoreX nodes. Sorry, I've already hit my limit for what I can take out. If I take out any more, 38%. So I had to stop. And that's on my CPA's orders. When you pay a professional, shut up and listen. So right. Remember, everybody's a seller one day, okay? You're never going to be the guy who has all the money sitting there saying, I've got all the money. Warren Buffett said something very interesting. He's been trading Coke and Johnson & Johnson for 50 years. Everyone says that he holds. He says, I've been holding since the 60s. That's not true. He trades Johnson & Johnson and Coke hundreds of times a day, and he always comes out on top. Why? Because he knows there's some idiot, some sucker waiting to take his money. There's always somebody waiting to take his money. We're all sellers at some point. We all got to get our money out at some point. Remember that. It's going to happen to you too.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that you bring that up. When I first started in Strong Block and nodes, I was addicted to rolling over and making more nodes. And then when I decided to start taking profits, I was addicted to taking profit because you're starting to see everything, your delayed gratification, everything that you've been, saying, hey, this could be. And then you start to take some profit and you say, oh man. And, kind of like Draco said, then you find yourself, wait a second, I might have to put myself back in the hole because I don't want to take out too much because I'm going to owe, or I need to do this or that. And 100% always work with a tax professional because they're going to be the ones to tell you like, you've done too much, you need to stop, or you have this much area. I wanted to transition though into the pre-search nodes and SRX. When a couple of weeks ago, I guess maybe it's probably a month now, SRX was down to, it was like 42 cents. And I went to buy what I needed to make a node. I hate this story because I just kicked myself in the ass. I went to buy what I wanted to buy, and I was on call that weekend for work. And I said, okay, I'm just going to buy what I need to make a node. Sat down, went to buy, got a phone call. I said, okay, I'll buy when I get home. Came home, something came up. I said, okay, next day. And I was on call. It was during the weekend, and I was on call. And I said, okay, tomorrow I'll just do it. Got another call going to work. By the time I sat down to do it, it had already jumped up to, I think it was $1.60 or something like that. And I just said, you know what? I'll just sit this one out. And now what is it? SRX is probably $3. Yeah. Oh my God.
Looking at it right now.
And now you need 4,000 or 3,500 SRX. I think back then it was 1,000 that you needed, or 1,500, whatever it was. It was 500. It was 1,000, I think, because it was about $500 to create one. Mm-hmm. And now I kick myself. So I did go in a little bit on pre-search, and Node Baron, with you, and obviously not to get too personal, with you deciding to retire, and we are already confirmed that you have some nodes. What do you think the outlook looks like for just running nodes, period? I mean, obviously you're taking a leap here and saying, you know what, I'm going to retire. What do you think the outlook looks like for 6 months, a year from now, running nodes, whether it's Strongblock, Presearch, SRX, Flux, all these other ones that are out there? What does it look like for you? I mean, obviously, like I said, you took the jump, man.
Yeah, I'm still a couple weeks away, but I mean, I'm pre-planning this because you always have to have a plan. You can't just go do this blindly. But without disclosing too much information, I would feel comfortable, and this is not my exact situation, but I would feel comfortable quitting my job if every month I made my annual salary at my job. For every month of node income is a year of my life, I could jump off. So even if it's 6 months, 10 months of continuous growth, crazy trajectory, that means I've just gained 10 years of my life back. I don't have to go work. Could I? And I still could, but it gives you the option to have that flexibility. So unless you have a really good savings, either in crypto, fiat, or otherwise, or you are making enough, or you're gaining almost 10 to 12x, I wouldn't do it because there's too much uncertainty. You have to have enough of a cushion that you can do that. And so that's my admonition. Make sure you have the leverage, if you will, so you can leverage your life with nodes. That's what I've done for so many months. I've compounded to a certain point where it's just crazy. I'll just say that life is crazy. Like right. I was back at $30 thinking, what's this node thing? Just buy a couple nodes and it keeps compounding upon. And then we went from 30 to $100, plateaued for a while, up to $200. And once we broke the 250 mark, this thing just took off. Like I was just seeing those, you were saying, Keith, you watch the charts don't lie. This thing wanted to just keep on doing its thing.
You saw the pattern.
I saw the pattern. And, oh my gosh, I just get so excited about this because it is life changing.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, bro. By the way, let it rip, man. Let it sing your song, dog.
just life is good, especially in the node world. People, if you're not in the nodes, you don't understand. You don't sweat the dips.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting paid. Who cares?
Exactly. Oh, it's whatever it is less per day. Okay, whatever. It'll average out in the end. I don't care because again. You're not a millionaire, 10,000aire, or even having $1,000 of profit until you pull profit. That's the other thing too. You can have money from nodes, but until you claim them, until it's in your wallet, it's not yours. And yet I would even say this too, until it actually is spendable or transferable or transactionable, it is not yours to a degree because I can't do anything with it. If I can't send you money, I can't buy something or leverage something for it, it means nothing.
There are 4 countries in what we said earlier, El Salvador, Romania, Antigua, and Portugal. And that's it.
Yeah.
I know the Bahamas, they have the sand dollar, right?
Exactly.
So 5 countries out of 268.
We're still early. And by the way, nodes are the future.
Yep.
Nodes will make the world go round. And on the last AMA that we did with David Moss, we were talking about all the different cool applications. And I threw out there, what about space? Could we throw nodes on anything that's in space? He said, yep, no problem. We just have to license it and figure out the way it's going to work. Yeah, anything that has an IoT can be noded. Anything.
To elaborate on what he's saying, how early we are, 18% of the world 18% of the world knows what Bitcoin is, right? 18% of the world knows what it is. 33% of the world has heard of it. 18% knows what it is. 1% of the 18% would buy it. Mm-hmm. 1% of the 1% would buy an altcoin. 1/2 of 1% of 1% would buy a node. So how incredibly early are you to be owning something that is validating every single transaction that someone does on crypto at an
And not
early
just
stage.
one. Some of these people early on have, I know, hundreds or
Hundreds,
dozens. Yeah. Oh yeah.
on multiple wallets. I can only imagine. I don't imagine how they felt when this thing went up to $680. Oh my God.
I can imagine. I can imagine exactly how they felt. You know, and since we're talking about Strong Block, you know, I appreciate everybody in the chat and everybody that's watching. I mean, we've been here for an hour and a half, and I want to reward you guys a little bit, and I'll drop a little bit of knowledge. And I think a lot of guys up here probably know this, but not everybody does. So I'm going to throw out something that you guys could use for everybody out there that's using Strong nodes. The current gas does suck, but I'm going to give you a quick trick, and I'm gonna kick myself in the ass by giving you guys this. But I think we should reward the people that are sticking with it and watching our show and everything. So if you're doing nodes and you're claiming, right, when you go to your MetaMask, go to your settings and turn on your advanced gas fees function. Turn that on. Then when you go to claim all, you can see what you're going to pay in gas, right? Now, this isn't financial advice, but just hear me what I'm saying. Do this at your own risk. But this is a lot less risky after EIP 1559 because now when gas hits a certain threshold, if it stays there for over 1 minute and there's not too many people in that block, your gas will go through, your transaction will go through. So what you do is you go to MetaMask, you set up advanced gas fees, you turn that on. When you do a transaction like Claim All, you set your maximum gas limit to a reasonable number. So let's say that you've seen the number bounce between 80 and 110 for like an hour. All right, if you don't want to spend more than 80, you can set your maximum gas limit to 75. Hit enter and let it roll. Go to bed. Because by the time you wake up, if it ever drops below 75 for more than a few minutes, that transaction will go through. Now, I don't know how many people know about this, but I will tell you that when it comes to claiming, because it doesn't matter, when I'm claiming tokens, the value of the token doesn't matter. I'm not saying to do this when you're swapping your token from Strong to ETH or anything like that, because the value might change dramatically from when you hit enter. It might go from $500 to $400. Who knows? And now you just did a transaction at $400. What I'm saying is when you're claiming tokens into your wallet, you can hit a button and say, my maximum transaction fee is 75 Gwei, 80 Gwei, whatever you want it to be, and then hit it and forget it. Go to bed. Don't worry about it. And if you wake up in the morning and it's not done yet, maybe you wait a little bit longer, go to work and come back home. At some point, if that gas goes underneath that number, it will go through. So I hope that helps you guys out. I hope that a lot of people can put that to use, and I hope that saves you guys some money.
I had to do that last week, actually. I had end up, I think I set mine for 65, somewhere around 65, 70. And it literally was like teetering around 71, 72. And I was just like, oh my gosh, please get lower than that. And it eventually did. I'm not a person that can stay up. Like, I'm actually surprised I'm even up for this. I love my sleep, but I have to set alarms. I have to set alarms just to wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning. And my fiance is like, oh my gosh, why are you getting on a computer at 3 in the morning? I'm like, you wouldn't understand.
Well,
For the people who just got on here,
Algorand's
up 15%, a drink for people who actually bought some.
Hey, Mullet brought up a good point. He said, if you set it too low, it'll charge you and it'll fail. That's true. So don't be stupid. I mean, if the price of the Gwei doesn't go under 100 all day, and you look at the chart and you don't see Gwei going under 100, don't be an idiot and put it at 50. It's never going to go through. Like, go within like 10 to 15% of where you see it when you want to set it. Because if you set it too low, it'll max out, it'll time out, it'll charge you. So let's say it's a $500 fee. If you let it go too long and the blockchain says, we're not, this isn't worth our time, they're going to charge you, take your money, and you're not going to get your tokens. So don't be too risky. I'm just saying set a price that's near where you're at, because you can have 300 Gwei spikes for no reason. So don't be an idiot.
I will add to that one other pro tip that I discovered early on is you can claim against one node. You don't have to claim against all 20 or 10. So if you need a little more liquidity, some people don't want to transfer money or more fiat in there to make this work for whatever you're, sourcing your income from or the tokens from. But you can claim against one, pay 15, 20 bucks, whatever the current rate is for one node. Maybe you have half a strong. That could give you a couple $100 more of liquidity to make your transaction go through overnight. And so for those people that don't have a lot of extra money, that is one way to keep it rolling for you. So I hope that helps.
And one more thing, if you have a Sentinel node, a DVPN node, it will not claim if you claim all. You have to claim it separately. Same thing with the monthly fee. You cannot pay the monthly fee at the same time as all the other ones. You have to pay that separately. So, as he just said, if you want to do one at a time, you're going to have to do that one at a time anyway. And if you want to try to experiment with it and catch it and take less of a risk, there's a chance. And I believe if it's 150, like you're saying, you set your GUI for 50, it even tells you, hey, bro, this ain't gonna work. You shouldn't do that. And it tries to warn you first that ain't gonna work. And if you do it anyway, well, I mean, you just kind of suckered yourself into losing 150. But like he's saying, that's a really smart thing to do. We've been using advanced gas for a little bit here now. I caught 60 GUI the other night. That's the lowest I've seen in a minute.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we have one of the questions too. A couple things. We'll go back to NFTs. There was a question about what do you guys think about the strong block NFTs? Do you have any thoughts on? I like them. I can tell you this though. I do kind of feel a little bit salty, even though I'm okay with having purchased. I have a silver and a bronze, but I'm okay with having purchased it, both of them. But when they kind of walked back you almost felt like there was an immediate need to continue to create more nodes to have an NFT. And I feel like they kind of walked that back a little bit. He talked about it last in our interview when we sat down with him, that they were kind of taking that back for now. Do you guys, I don't know, a part of me kind of feels it was disingenuous to say, hey, you're going to need one of these to continue to create more nodes. And then you have people go out and buy those. And now you don't need right. And then you walk it back and say, no, you like, it's cool. You don't need one now. We're working on a different plan or something. What do you guys have?
I personally think that strong block is too generous to brand new investors. Like, I get it. I want everybody to get into strong block. I think it should be for everybody, but I think they're almost too generous. And I always go back to the same, the same way to look at it. If XRP today shot up to $100 a token, right? And me as an investor said, well, fuck, I didn't have any XRP. I want to make 1,000, 10,000% on my investment. So can you drop the price for me personally so that I can get in 10,000x on my investment? XRP is going to tell me, no, pound sand. So I think that sometimes strong block is a little bit too kind to new investors, and they start to ignore their investors that are already there that are helping keep the entire dream alive. And sometimes I feel like that kind of goes against everything that they're doing. So for example, with the NFTs, hey, get an NFT, and you need an NFT to continue to build nodes. And then they get a little bit of pressure from new investors and they're like, we're not going to do that. I kind of think that's bullshit. And I think they should reward OG investors a little bit more than, feeding them lies once in a while. And, I get it. It's a working model. It's a business. Things are going to change. But I think sometimes they need to have a little bit more respect for the people that have been there for, since, let's say, last September, going into the brand new year, into March, the people that have helped build this whole entire thing. You can't just forget about them because quote unquote new investors are coming in all the time.
All right, so devil's advocate, I'm going to do it. I fully understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree. Problem: the old dudes who got in at $20 or $10, you've made hundreds of thousands and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands. At a certain point, we have to stop, and you have to understand that you're not going to make hundreds and thousands a week. We have to, for sustainability's sake. We can't let you keep making $100,000 a week. I get it. And I wish I had a new. I would have done it too. Same time, as you're saying, the new investors can't run the show. So, okay, first of all, it's not my business, and I'm super thrilled with Strong, and it's changed my life. All right. I'm not going to complain a bit. However, new investors are kind of getting priced out at $500 a token.
Yeah.
People don't want to drop
Agreed.
$5,000. I get it. So you're really only dependent on the old heads rolling their rewards over. I got a problem with that. Okay. At some point that has to come to a head. Now, if we were to take the old heads and reduce theirs after X days, and we were to get the new nodes in for a smaller, maybe 5 strong and a half a token a day, and now you're letting the people who don't have as much money get in, even though you're making less. Now, it's not my company. I'm not going to tell them what to do. They're millionaires. I'm clearly not qualified to run the thing, but I see some holes. Now, all that being said, I've made my money back, and I'm not going to complain at all. And I push people to go buy nodes all the time. I'm happy when people go get nodes. I wish more people would go get them because, I mean, it's money that you're getting for nothing. You just sit back and count. But there are some holes. And as far as NFT goes, I love the idea of NFTs, especially since the new things have been announced, like Polygon and Phantom. If they're only going to let people with NFTs have that, great. And I'm 100% for that. If you want to get those, you got to go over there and you got to play ball and get an NFT. And I have 3 of them. So if you want one, come buy one. And I'm not going to give it to you unless you're willing to play ball. Why? Because that's called supply and demand. If you don't like it, hey, go buy bonds.
Well, I guess the way that they were first saying it was, and the reason why I said that, I mean, obviously it's a long conversation, but what they were saying they were going to do is when a new protocol comes out, like let's say hypothetically Phantom, when Phantom comes out, it's only going to, instead of it being a node where it's 10 strong, it would be a node that costs 2, 3, or 4 strong, and then you have to put Phantom into it. Correct. So that then you're going to get rewarded mostly in that native token with a little bit of strong. So now somebody who's new to strong block would be able to invest into that because instead of costing 10 strong, it would only cost 2, 3, or 4 strong. Now there's a whole new era that people can invest into a new token or like a new protocol, and it's more affordable. That's how it was brought up, and that's how they started. And I wish that they'd keep going with that because then you'd open the market up to newer investors without having to make, crazy changes. There's going to be changes. We all agree on that, but the changes wouldn't be as drastic because now you're circulating tokens without having to pay as much strong out, if that makes any sense. So that's what I was trying to say. I just think that if they could make it affordable without having to make huge drastic changes to the people that started their business up.
This is a great play. What you just said would be a great play if you only had to put 3 strong in and 70% Matic, and you're a Matic holder, and you go, God, man, I don't know whether I'm going to take these profits on Matic or what. What if I just rolled them over into a strong node?
Right.
And I got 70% of my stuff in Matic, and I rolled it over, and okay, now you feel invested.
Right.
That's a great idea. Now, are they actually going to pay you out 70% Matic? Because I doubt that's going to happen. I feel like none of these other protocols want to put that sell pressure on their token, right? They don't want to have their token being given out as a reward and sold off. The only people you're going to get to buy that the only people you're going to get to buy that are the Matic lovers or the Phantom guys who are like, gosh, man, I can put my Phantom in and make even more. A regular investor, like someone who's watching this, is going to go, well, I'll go buy a little bit of Phantom to put with my strong node. You know what I mean? And I'm going to sell it. That's the way someone like us who's looking at profits is going to look at it.
Well, really, you'd be staking it.
Correct.
So let's say that you had to buy X amount of Phantom, right? You'd have to buy strong and when you buy strong and sell strong or stake strong, it doesn't create a crazy amount of pressure on the strong ecosystem because you're staking it and then it goes back into the reward pool. You'd have that same effect with a different protocol or another native token, as long as it would be paying you in that native token as well. And then most people would do the same thing that they did with strong. And instead of just sell pressure that you're talking about, there would also be people that would hold on to it so they can create more nodes. So I think it would have its own effect. It wouldn't just be, boom, you give us, this X amount of Phantom, and now our price is going to have all this sell pressure because they're creating rewards in Phantom. I disagree. I think that it's going to create an entire different ecosystem for Phantom.
I'm here for all of it.
Yeah, me too. I want it.
Juan, I'm with you, Juan. I got tequila for you, bro. Right here.
Oh boy.
Let's go. It's grown folk hours.
No, just to comment back on the NFT space. I mean, if someone's looking at, do I buy an NFT or do I buy more nodes? I say buy more nodes. Mm-hmm. Do I make $6 a day or do I make $60 a day? I say all day long I make $60 a day. Now, if it's within your budget, buy an NFT. I'm all for the long term play because it does lock it in for a longer period of time than you don't have to worry about the happenings as much. And I don't want you like to use that word because it's a dirty word around here.
Right.
But I think they need to change the word happenings to progressive progressive node income instead of a happening. We'll keep it progressive and moving forward, even if it drops to like 0.91 or 0.88. Like find a progressive number that is not so drastic for longevity. Because to go also lose half my income, that kills all the wind in my sails. Now you have to. For me, a long-term strategy is right now. I would say I would pull income, grow a node, pull income, grow a node, so that I'm growing and have my income stream. Back to your comment earlier, Grant, about getting to a point where you're not balancing out. That is a great balance.
Right.
You get to a point where you're still growing. So if a halvening or a decreased reward structure happens, you can kind of weather it a little bit more. So if you're just pulling profit, that's still a good play too, but it doesn't give you long-term growth.
Right.
Two questions.
Just be aware of what you're doing.
Yep.
Two questions. Do y'all kind of feel like that the NFTs are for people with multiple nodes who have been around a while? Because I kind of get that feeling.
Yep.
I feel like NFTs are only for the people who are longer or more vested than anyone else. And another strategy that I've been employing, I don't know if y'all do it, but I never claim less than 13 tokens. And what I do is I claim 13, I take 2 out no matter what, and I put them somewhere else. I sell them, buy something else, and the other 11 I roll over a node if I'd like.
Yep.
I take 10 and roll over, and I turn 1 into ETH, and the 2 that I have left over I move somewhere else. And this takes 25% roughly each time out. Each time out 25%, no matter what. So like Node Baron's saying, you made a node, you didn't make a node, you made it. I'm kind of doing it 25% rather than 150. Like I guess that's 50%, like you're saying. But I'm trying to do it. And I had a question about that NFTs. What y'all kind of felt about them?
I just don't think that the value right now is worth the investment. I mean, but the one thing I do like about them is I can unstake it and I can sell it if I want to. Right. That's the only flexibility. And technically, I have made money from my NFT. So if I truly want to look at it from that, I could sell it and make another $700 more than I paid for my bronze, based on the ETH price or based on the market. And there is only so many of the bronze, and it is the most affordable NFT to get into. But it doesn't pay me. Well, there's another cool thing about this. A lot of people don't think about is the only NFT that I know of that pays me an income every day when staked. I don't know of any other NFT that pays me a passive income.
Do Rumble Kongs? Because I ain't got one. I don't know.
No. I mean, they give you clout, they give you recognition, and they're great for money laundering, but that's about it.
Wow, that's a great point. Maybe I should get one.
Grant and I, we had a token value that we used to call it the 12 token method. When the value of Strong was much lower, we used to try to tell people, claim 12 tokens at a time. We called it the 12 coin method because you could use 2 coins to pay all your fees and claim 10, and then you could either cash it out or make another node. And we did that. That's what we started on, months ago. That's what we were talking, because we were trying to help people make this its own ecosystem. If you're pulling fiat and putting it into Coinbase and sending it to your MetaMask so that you can pull your Strong, you're doing something wrong. So get to the point where you can make this self-sustainable. And I'm not saying that you don't have to do that to get your shit started. I had to do that to get my shit started. I get it. But eventually, if you're putting too much money into this, you're doing it wrong, bruh.
Imagine doing that at 150 Gwei, which is what is that now?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Jesus.
There's no way.
You can't even afford it. It's stupid.
No.
I mean, even back in February when I started this, 75.80 was average. So I remember that was just what I used to pay. And then when we dipped down to 20 and teens and even single digits, what is this, mini Cardano?
I don't know. I hate to bust up the NFT talk, but what I don't know what I'm looking at here.
I'm pulling up the chart now. It's not a buy.
No, it's not a buy. I just came out
Go
today.
down. Go down. Look at the chart. Go down.
I'm looking at it right now.
What is that?
It's kind of not true right there.
It's got to be a glitch.
Topped out at 1/100th of a penny, and right now it's 1/1000th of a penny.
Look at the red. No.
Mini Cardano. Can we just buy a baby ship right now and just get it over with?
We all could, I guess.
I mean, they're saying ships go on to Coinbase, right? So if
No, baby ship, baby ship.
a baby ship, okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of going back on the NFTs. I mean, I have my bronze, and I do agree, Jacob. Like, I feel like in the sense we kind of are, or at least Strong Block, it seems like we are. They're babying the new investors a bit. When they, changed the rules as far as how the NFTs were going to work, it kind of made a lot of the veterans feel a type of way, because it's like, well, what was the point of really getting the NFT when you can just buy a node and make more money in the long run? I do still like that you actually, when you create an NFT, you have a stake in the lottery system. I do think that's cool. Like, even though I didn't get the DVPN, I was kind of sad about that, but it's okay. But I do like that. I like that, there are many use cases for the NFTs.
Yeah, and that was my biggest thing too, is when I first bought the bronze, I said, okay, it's not really, I was able to catch it at a really good deal. And I said, okay, well, I'm just going to get it early. Didn't cost that much ETH. ETH was down to, I think, like $2,200 at the time or something. So I got it. I think I only paid like $900 for it, or $1,100, somewhere in there. So I said, okay, I feel really comfortable with that price. I'm good to go. And then I tried to catch silver in the same kind of, I bought silver kind of in a dip as well. And I was fortunate enough that someone put one on OpenSea, because they bought it and then they needed the money for something else. So they actually sold it at a loss for themselves. So I snatched it up. But the issue I had was I could have made, I mean, obviously you don't have half a node, but I think I could have made 1.5 nodes basically from buying that silver. And I would have made much more with that one node and having that extra, 5 strong, say, and the ability to create a new node. And that's where I felt that it was slightly disingenuous from Strong when they initially came out and said, hey, you need these in the future to build more nodes. Okay, well, that's why I'm going to do it, because, Node Baron said, if he's got multiple wallets, well, if I'm going to diversify my wallets to be safe and I need to build more nodes, I'm going to need more than one NFT. I go do that. And now it doesn't appear that I need that, so that's where I kind of felt that, yeah, some of my money was my future income was kind of taken. But again, like you said, Keith, I'm not going to complain. We're in a very fortunate space. We are in early, and I'm not going to sit here and I'm not trashing the project by any means. It was just kind of one of those things where if no one likes to have any type of money taken from them, doesn't matter how much you make, you always want to catch the deal, right?
Yeah, not to shield form or anything. I don't think that was their intent. I don't think they intended to do what happened. I think they had a shit ton of stuff on their plate.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of stuff was happening, and they're trying to do a lot of things at one time, and they got a bunch of great ideas. And I appreciate the fact that they're trying to do things that other people aren't doing. You know what I mean? And if that means that sometimes shit doesn't go right, I'm okay with that. And that isn't because you didn't take a chance and try. It was because it just didn't work out. So
I completely agree with that.
If it comes off as disingenuous, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think it kind of does. If we're calling a spade here, I don't think they meant it that way. And I don't think this is over. I'm not sure there's going to be any more raffles. You know what I mean? When it comes to these Polygon nodes, I don't think there's going to be a raffle. I think it's going to say there's going to be X thousand, and anybody with silver and higher gets it. Go.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, well, too bad. You should have had your shit saved up.
Yeah.
And they're gone. Sorry. You didn't like it. Too bad. And I feel like that takes that baby factor away that you're kind of saying, Chris. They kind of babied them a little bit. That takes the baby factor out. Well, I didn't get any Polygon nodes. Well, your ass should have been ready.
Very true.
The real world, man. This is the investment world.
I think they're also trying to, they just tweeted out yesterday or 2 days ago, where he did his quote that NFTs are going to be important or whatever it is in the future. They just tweeted that. I think it was like 2 days ago. I think they do a little foreshadowing, right? They do a little foreshadowing. I think they're not just saying that for a reason. There's something is going to come out.
Hey, who took all the platinum ones? I still think that's a conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
Dude, this shit got going in we were charting those. Okay. First of all, we were plotting those and charting them, and I was charting the price. The amount was coming up per day. I made a linear chart, but in 2 days it was gone. 37 of them in 2 days, it was gone. So a lot of people, if we're being conspiracy theories a little bit, those were $35,000 a piece. Where the hell did they go? And that wasn't a dip.
Well, here's the deal though. The next day they announced the Cowabunga happening, right?
Yeah.
The next day.
Yeah.
And then it would have made platinum NFTs. It would have made platinum NFTs more valuable or the same, basically the same price as the current value of a node, which it's the same thing now, right?
I think the kids call that sus.
Yeah, very, very. And I still think there was some, it's crypto, man, whatever. I'm going to understand the game that we're all playing here.
There's that baby factor, right?
If you don't like it, they released too many NFTs too quickly. I think they should have decreased the amount, like slowly released the amount too. Because
Absolutely.
It feels flooded. I don't feel like I have a cool thing in my wallet. I have an NFT, but I'm not like bragging to my friends about it. I'm not saying I've got the one of one rare. I think they should have had an even more rare.
Yeah,
like the rare wasn't rare enough.
Like a diamond.
Yeah,
unobtainium.
Unobtainium. I mean, it's for the amount of investors, it's flooded.
I think they should have forced you to mine it or mint it or stake it from the beginning. So like, I don't think they should have had, oh, there's 5,000 of these, or insert your number here. I don't remember I think it's 5,500 total or whatever. I think from the beginning they should have said, hey, if you want this silver, you have to lock up X amount of your nodes to make it, right? So if you lock up 5 nodes for 1 month, it'll make you a silver. That's a lot of money, but you can make a silver. Now that's the only way you can get it, and then you could resell it on the secondary market. Same thing with gold. You have to do 10 nodes for a month or whatever it was. That would have been the best way to do it, because then anybody could have earned it, and then you really would have earned it, especially now if you locked up 10 at $500 a token price over a month. That's a lot of money, man. I think that should have been the way they did it. Now they've made it so that you have to spend so much ETH and all of that. I mean, again, this is small criticism. I think the project's amazing, but I think that would have made the supply different. It would have made it more available to everybody, if you will.
Perhaps you've hit on that's how they're going to earn them.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they're even left, I mean, they're selling so quickly that by the time they roll this out, which has been, they announced that 3 months ago that you could earn an NFT by staking. I mean, come on. If that comes out by Christmas, I'll be happy about it.
Well, I think Grant should be using pre-search. Why aren't you using pre-search?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. I should be. You're right. You're right. I pay myself here. I think I'm gonna change all my browsers at work too. That's what I'm gonna do. It's funny. I'm not even gonna get to it. Yeah. So I think I'll have to change all my browsers at work. But I think as far as the NFTs are concerned, I think that we're gonna see them pull at least half of them. So I just had it up on the screen. You're coming up on. I'll drop this out real quick. We'll talk about pre-nodes in a second. I don't know, it's taking forever. But you're coming up on 500 silver sold. I think you might see them pull out at like 500, 600, right? And the same thing with the gold. You might see them pull out about 250. Then that leaves people the opportunity to stake their nodes or whatever they're going to have to do to earn it. And then it still leaves quite a bit out there for newer investors who can't afford it. There's a lot out there, to get. I don't know. I just don't think that we're going to see this go all the way to, 900 of 1,000, and there's only 100 silver left. I think they're going to leave a good portion of them available.
So to speculate a little bit, right now a silver is roughly $9,000. So maybe you got to put 7,000 worth of strong into the pool, and then if you leave it for 108 days, you earn an NFT, something like that. Yeah. And then you can earn a silver. I'm just speculating because they got to be doing something if they say you can earn them. I'm interested in earning them, but I don't want to go put in the pool. I'd rather make nodes. So
right.
It's got to be worth it.
Right.
Well, that also brings the other thing as far as the silver. I mean, a silver makes 0.06 strong, right, a day.
Mm-hmm.
In order to make the silver valuable per se, in my opinion, And if they're ever going to reduce the amount of node rewards, you're going to have to reduce it below 0.06. Otherwise, why did I buy the silver again?
Right.
For what purpose? The idea was, okay, if there's another halvening, I'm going to make more than what it would have been when it was halved. So I'm interested. Again, if they never want to do another halvening, they don't want to decrease rewards, I'm not complaining about it, because you're absolutely right. I can just unstake it and sell it. And I think all of us would be extremely happy. And I will be the first to say here, well, not the first, but on live stream, if in the event that happens, my wife would be sitting just like Node Baron here in about 6 weeks or 6 months. I would let her, enjoy some type of retirement. You heard it here first, honey, I know you're watching. But yeah, exactly. But no, but it's just one of those things. I think that, if they do cut the rewards, it's going to have to be below a silver. I don't see it. I don't see it sitting above a silver. I think ultimately it goes below. But hey, look, I'm old, guys, and Lefty Chris was supposed to be in bed an hour ago. And Keith is probably going to keep this after party going.
Real quick, pre-search nodes are still worth it. Get in while you can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Before we get on, I don't really care. I'm not that old, right? But yeah, so pre-search nodes, absolutely. You got in a couple weeks ago. I think
0028 is when I bought them. I just bought them because it was stupid. It was $30 per node, whatever. What's
Right.
$30 in the grand scheme of things? You don't even think about that on gas fees. You just pay it. So
Yeah.
why not? I bought way too much. I bought 16,000 pre-tokens because I was like, what's $500? Whatever.
Right.
And I moved it over there, right? No sweat. Staked 4,000 per node. I'm or whatever. $125. Who cares? Well, it goes up 10x. It goes up to 10x. So I immediately unstaked what I didn't have to have in there and sold the shit out of it. And I think I made $4,500 worth of profit, which then in turn paid for 2 Flux nodes. So compounding.
Right.
It's in beta. I mean, pre-search is going on every Google phone in the European market. It has CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko on the home screen. People are going to accidentally click on that.
Yep.
And pull up tokens and go, oh shit, what is this? This is how you buy Bitcoin? Oh, okay. Well, now you've opened up a whole can of worms. And it's in beta. When I think what everyone would agree with, nodes are all about being early.
Yeah.
And if you're early, you're in. It's in beta. It doesn't get any earlier than that. So if you're going to get in and it's in beta, I mean, what are you waiting on? We're talking about minimal investment. You're willing to drop $5,000 on a strong node. You're willing to drop $11,000 on a StoreX node. What's $200 for a pre-search node?
Well, you're willing to drop $200 on gas fees
without even batting an eyelash.
Right.
I did it the other night.
Right.
60 Gwei, $280 to claim. I was like, shit, whatever. I'll do it.
Right.
I rolled that thing over and I was happy with my profits. I mean, you don't even think about it. So
exactly.
It makes it sound arrogant. I don't
now,
like
Keith, is it better to make 10 pre-nodes with 1,000 each, or one with 10,000?
It's per pre-search, it's useless to stake more than you need. They say make more nodes rather than stake.
Okay.
It's in beta. This could change. They also have it where you can stake on the keywords, like we was saying when he bought the No Baron was saying when he bought bought names for domains. So the first thing I did when I made that setup video, you didn't see it, I deleted it, was I went through and I was like, I'll stake to porn. The word porn. I'll just stake to that. Well, I tried and it was already like 10 Bitcoin worth stake to that. And I was like, well, shit, I got to find another word. So I was cycling through trying to find words that I could stake to. Well, even then I asked the pre-search group and they were like, nah, it doesn't really pay anything yet. I was like, well, it's in beta. Maybe it will eventually. So I just reduced them all down to 1,000 and stuck with it. Again, you're not going to make much, so you shouldn't be paying for a big VPS. That's stupid. If you have StoreX nodes that are oversized on their VPS, you can run these alongside them. That's what I did. Also, Amazon Web Service offers free VPSs for a year. You can sign up for those and get the free VPSs. The only thing they need to be is Ubuntu 20.04, and you can have free VPSs for a year. The nodes are less than $200 now. I think it's $119 for a node.
I bought 2 of them yesterday for about $300.
There you go. $150 each. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? Like,
Yeah, I already have I think I have like 2,500 pre-tokens. I'm just waiting on the verification. That's really it.
that sucks, by the way. And I was able to refer a couple people to the pre-search Telegram and get their shit faster.
Yeah.
Apparently they stopped doing that. Okay. Because I sent like 5 people over there to get their codes faster. Because I think I waited like 4 days to get my code. And it sucked because I was wanting to get it in. And I ended up at 0.0028. But I was trying to get them in there earlier than that. It still seems early. I was trying even earlier than that. And then I sent a bunch of people over there saying, hey, they say you can get your pre-search node faster if you talk to them. I don't think they got them any faster. So they pay about 1 pre per day, Christian. That's limited right now. At first I was getting about 5 pre per day, but they've cut it back since so many people got in.
Well, I will say this, Carolina Keith, you're going to have to help me set these up. And if other people wanted help to set these up, where could they go to find you so that you could help them set it up?
The YouTube channel, TA with Keith Lay. I have 3 setup videos, one for StoreX, one for pre-search, and one for Flux. All 3 videos you watch me screw up live. I recorded it live, me screwing up, and you see what I did wrong, and you see what I did to fix it. And I recorded all of it so that you could actually see a real take, because what irritated me was watching videos that were 3 minutes long of someone jamming right through it, no problems. That's not the real world. You realize how hard I struggled making Flux nodes? Holy shit. That was a 3-day ordeal. Girlfriend was pissed I was in here in the office for 3 days trying to get these nodes running. So once I actually got it running, the video is only 40 minutes long. And you go, God, that's 40 minutes. I don't have that kind of attention span. I spent 3 days on it. So there's 3 different videos. Like I said, pre-search, StoreX, and Flux. I might make a pre-video because I don't have a pack video. I don't have a pack node. Other people do. I've debated on getting one of those, and I think I'll get one with my StoreX node rewards here that are coming up. And I'll make a video on pack also. It's fairly easy though. So anyway, the videos are really explanatory and self-diagnosing. So I tried to make it where anybody could do it. You know what I mean? Because I'm a simp myself.
But that's the reason why I ended up making that SRX guide, because I know that even though you have videos on YouTube that will allow you to go step by step and watch other people do it, it's still good. I know a lot of people like myself, I like to read like just instructions, just bare instructions. And so I know there are a lot of people that also like to do that. And so that's why, you know,
my job that I'm going to be getting rid of here soon, just like Node Baron, industrial HVAC, and I need a wiring diagram. Where's the wiring diagram? I need a wiring diagram. Where's it at? And I want to sit and read that for a minute. Well, if I don't have it, I'm irritated. So same thing with you with the instructions. They're totally important.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you guys, we talked about pre-search. So in that Telegram, I just reached out to him and said, who do I need to talk to so we can get them on the show and talk to them about pre-search. So I'm hopefully in communication with those guys in the future to get them on the show and we can pick their brain. Flux was supposed to be on today. They had some other issues come up, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to come on in the future. So we'll get those guys from Flux nodes to come on and we'll talk to them about that. The one interesting thing I liked about Flux, because I am a GPU miner, at least I was, my miner crashed and I am going to be in the process of putting it back together, but you can actually mine Flux as well. Mm-hmm. And from what I've read about their rewards pool is that it's actually 50% for miners, 50% for nodes. So I'm almost in the boat of, instead of creating a node, I might just mine it, once I get my miner back up.
Rewards are not static on Flux nodes either. They're not perfect. They don't always come through. It's based on blocks like Strong.
Right.
So that's another part of it that people don't know about.
Yeah. So but the only thing that I do like about Flux and say pre-search is you can unstake it and you can sell, right? You can say, you know what? Okay, I'm done with this. I just want to get rid of it.
Oh, so here's another thing. I made that Flux video. Another thing that blew my mind. I'm just a simp in South Carolina. The damn developer emailed me. He's like, oh, hey, by the way, delete that video. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you just put your private keys and shit on the internet. I was like, oh, crap. I didn't even think about that. So he said, oh, well, you don't have to delete it. Just delete your node and redo it. So you absolutely can unstake, because I did it twice. when I made the video, I deleted that node and made another one with a different private key and everything else. So if anybody wants to try to steal it, too bad, it's already gone. But you can absolutely unstake, because I had to delete the node and unstake to make another one. It was seamless. No problem with that at all. And their Zelcore wallet is awesome. If you want to download the Zelcore wallet, you can exchange. There's 280 currencies that go on it. It's really neat.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Go ahead.
I see XRP Moonrider said, y'all node anything else? I used to have an energy node. I ran that for about 2 months, 2 or 3 months. It's a very hard node. Like, I thought SRX was hard. I mean, it's not that bad, but energy, that one's way worse to do. So that's why I stopped for
that reason.
Yeah, no, it's a pain. It took me a long time to get that actually going.
KFX was another one that I looked into. The Masternodes online website was incorrect. The rewards were not what they said. When you join these Telegram groups, the admins will tell you what the actual rewards are. And it's a little bit disappointing some of these websites list. There was another one that's a Pfizer coin. It shows like 2-day ROI. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that's incorrect. It's 193-day ROI, and there's no liquidity. I went into the group and asked, okay? And the guy told me, oh, actually, no, that's not right. I don't know who put that up there, but that's incorrect. You have to stake way more tokens and you get way less. And I was like, well, shit, never mind then. So,
yeah, speaking of ROI and to kind of plug Draco and Kairos with OHM, Draco did a chat with Kairos, who's been doing a lot of YouTube with OHM, and obviously their insane APY that they have. I know a lot of the people that are into Strong have kind of moved some of their profits or moved some money into OHM as well. I think that's another option for people if they're, if they feel that they're priced out of, say, Strong nodes or something like that. OHM, not financial advice, clearly is probably or maybe probably one of the better options for people to look in that may not have the $5,000 to open up a Strong node or something like that, and they can still earn some pretty significant returns on that.
I'd be remiss if I didn't jump in and say, if it doesn't break 384, watch out, because falling knives cut hands. All right. And it's still in a downtrend. It has not broken it has not broken the downtrend. If it does not break 384 and hold, it's going to get ugly. So be careful.
Well, thank you for that.
Falling knives cut hands. Okay. You don't reach down and grab a falling knife. You let it hit the floor.
It's true.
I know it's a deflationary asset and you earn if it drops. But if you earn if it drops and you don't earn as fast as it drops, you didn't make anything. You'd be better off having your money somewhere else. So from a chart perspective, be careful.
What kind of timeline are you looking at for that?
In the next day or two. If it doesn't break 384 in the next 2 week and a half, if it doesn't break 384 and hold it for a week and a half, then you're looking at 135 bottom end. That sucks, but here, doesn't it? So it just got to break the downtrend. Just like XRP from 2017 is what it looks like right now.
Right.
You had a failed break. There was 5 failed breaks on XRP. You have so far 2 failed breaks. Not saying it's going to happen. It's just a pattern, but the 50 moving average and the 100 moving average are in the exact same place as the 50 fib. It's got to break the 50 fib to break the downtrend. It has not in the history of the coin ever did that. So just be careful. I have no problem with people doing what they want to do, and diversification is crucial. But I try not to ever catch falling knives.
It's good. See, this is why we got you on, man. Give us
I could absolutely be wrong. Not financial advice. I'm some idiot from South Carolina.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I got to sign off for the night. Thanks for the invitation and letting me crash the party and join you guys. So
no, man, congratulations on your future. We'll do this again. I would like to keep doing these chats, man, and just kind of sit down and chill with everybody. I think it was a lot of fun. At least I had a lot of fun. So
absolutely, thank everybody for coming. This is awesome. Glad to see him. Putting faces to names is awesome. By the way, thank y'all.
Yeah,
for having me. Especially for having some idiot like me. I appreciate it.
No, yeah. You gave a bunch of great information. I think everybody here, they
absolutely
have valuable information. They're known kind of in the space, and especially I think Keith, you had said this earlier. Just the node community on Twitter or social media is very welcoming and very, helpful. And it didn't take much but to reach out to you guys and say, hey, you want to do this, where I've reached out to plenty of other people and you get no response, or they don't, they may talk to you for a second. Yeah. And then they just stop talking to you or whatever it is. This is a great community to be in. And, obviously, so I'm very appreciative of you guys jumping in on this. This was short notice. Obviously, I just kind of threw it out there just to see what happened. And I think we got a great turnout. So I really appreciate you guys coming out. Before we get going, though, I did want to bring up one more thing. The ladies, our ladies in Cryptonairz do a podcast every single day, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go over news, and a lot of the talk they do is about NFTs. And one of the most recent projects actually got a lot of traction. And they reached out to us on Twitter and thanked us for talking about their project. And I wanted to bring something up because while we were talking today, the person who started it, the creator of Cyborgs, actually reached out to me as well. And we're going to get him or her, I'm not sure, on the show with our ladies at some point to talk about NFTs. They do a lot of talking about NFTs. So if you're interested in that project, it's human 001 on Twitter. You can check them out. They got Discord link and all of that, but they have a great project. The girls talked about it on their podcast. I believe it was yesterday. So check that out. I thought it was really good. They reached out. So we'll be talking with them in the future. And we'll also bring on Flux in the future and hopefully pre-search, and we can get those guys talking as well. And we'll obviously invite you guys back. But this is something that I know Draco and I talked about. We'd like to kind of keep doing, whether it's weekly, whether it's monthly or whenever, whether it's just randomly. Sit down, grab your drinks, and just all hang out and talk crypto.
I like it.
Absolutely. It was fun.
Super fun.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys out in the crypto space, and I'm sure, and whether it's Telegram, Discord, Twitter, we'll be talking. And thanks again, everyone, for showing up. Don't forget to hit the likes on your way out, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Visit us on Twitter and Discord. Make sure you hit up everyone's YouTube pages and all that other stuff. But appreciate it. We're going to head and see you guys next time.
Good night.
Good. Peace.